Chapter 651, 324, Cancan's Route, The Examination of Fireflies. Meow tilde, I need a 4-star skill scroll. Xian didn't hesitate to speak up, while casting a pleading gaze towards Star beside it. Meow tilde, I still have 3 skills left after all are upgraded to stars. I won't compete with you guys anymore. Zalu tilde, okay. Star neighed in agreement, weighing the options before deciding to consent. Following that, the 2 pet beasts each took enough skill fusion stones and other items to fuse a skill once. Xian used up all the value points it had saved to obtain a large number of skill points, thus concluding their distribution of resources. Now that Cancan had acquired its evolution path, and therefore had the right of priority in resource distribution, it evidently had no intention to use it yet. Only after Xian and Star had finished their distribution did it select a large number of skill fragments for itself, just in case. In its first participation in skill distribution, 12, after paying off its debts with the value points it got, had only half left. It redeemed the 3-star skill, Bewildered Heart Branding, that Su Ran had previously reserved for it, and then exchanged a small number of skill fusion stones to stockpile for the time being. With the distribution of resources complete, the 4 little ones started using their newly acquired resources in an orderly fashion. Then, let's start with Cancan's evolution path first. Feeling Cancan's eager emotions, Su Ran smiled and spoke. Xian and Star nodded silently, indicating agreement. They had already acquired the evolution path of their emperor species, so they had no thoughts about this precious resource. However, once Cancan owned an evolution path and was ready to evolve, they would have to appropriately yield resources to this junior Cancan. Thinking of this, a contemplative look appeared on Xian's face. Its gaze finally settled on the 4-star skill scroll. With a 4-star skill scroll, it could upgrade its remaining 3 3-star skills to 4 stars more quickly, fulfilling all the evolution conditions in advance. In doing so, it wouldn't have to compete for resources with Star and Cancan later on. Therefore, this time, it was determined to secure the 4-star skill scroll. As Xian was contemplating, Su Ran had already used the Emperor species evolution path on Cancan. Lines of text appeared before his eyes. Evolution path, Panlong Turtle Earth, Right Arrow Rock Deity Dragon Turtle Earth. Evolution difficulty. Evolution potential. Evolution path, Panlong Turtle Earth, Right Arrow Broken Rock Deity Turtle Earth. Evolution difficulty. Evolution potential. Evolution path. As he scrolled through the options for Cancan's evolution, Su Ran casually inquired, 6-star potential. Ja, 6-star potential. Cancan nodded vigorously, without any hesitation. As for evolution, of course it wanted to evolve into the strongest. Then there's only this one. After reviewing all the evolution paths, Su Ran's gaze settled on one in particular. Evolution path, Panlong Turtle Earth, Right Arrow Ancient City Turtle Dragon Earth. Evolution difficulty. Evolution potential. Seeing the name of this evolution form, a rare look of confusion and wonder crossed Su Ran's face. What did the words Ancient City and the race name mean? Forget it, it's probably just a somewhat strange name. He reassured himself, then clicked to open the complete evolution path. As the lines of text became clear before his sight, Su Ran's expression grew increasingly puzzled. This is probably not just as simple as having a strange name. Evolution path, Panlong Turtle Earth, Right Arrow Ancient City Turtle Dragon Earth. Evolution difficulty. Evolution potential. Evolution conditions. All of Panlong Turtle's talent skills must be enhanced to 4-star skills before evolution, and at least 3 skills should be able to increase its body size. All talent skills reach Violent Sun level proficiency. Evolution materials, Marrow of Thick Soil Mane, Eye of the Gargoyle Mane, Vein Origin Stone Mane, Emperor Stage Blood Essence of Earth Dragon Mane, Brilliant Gem Mane, Eternal Life Calamity Dew Mane. Evolution ritual. Lead a city, migrate for thousands of miles. With the city resting on its back, complete the final evolution under the blessing of countless creatures within the city. Even Su Ran, who had seen 2 incredible Emperor species evolution paths, found Cancan's evolution path particularly absurd after seeing it. Cha, how is my evolution path? Meanwhile, Cancan had already widened its eyes, looking forward with an expression of expectation. This caused Su Ran to fall silent for a moment before he could only tell the truth. Your evolution path might be a bit difficult to complete. Chai, no problem. Kankan waved its paw nonchalantly. It was already fully mentally prepared. Cha, does it mean I have to hunt down Earth Attribute King Stage? I can try that. No, your evolution path doesn't have such a requirement. Su Ran shook his head. You don't need to fight with King Stage creatures. Cha, then why say the evolution path is difficult? Kankan looked puzzled, and even Xian and Star drew close out of curiosity. Equally curious was 12, who had never seen an Emperor species evolution path before. Facing 4 pairs of eyes filled with the desire for knowledge, Su Ran shook his head. Kankan's evolution path is quite different from Xian's and Star's. First, it has one less condition. Kankan's evolution conditions don't require not breaking through to King Stage for its growth stage, meaning it can complete its evolution while at King Stage. Cha, isn't that good? Kankan's eyes widened. Without a doubt, being able to complete evolution at King Stage meant it had more time to prepare and accumulate power. If it weren't for the risk that a higher growth stage might solidify life levels, all creatures would prefer to evolve at a higher growth stage. It would be safer. Indeed, that is a good thing, Su Ran nodded slightly, but there's something quite off about your evolution ritual. According to the requirements of the evolution ritual, you need to lead a city migrating thousands of miles. Su Ran paused, looking at Kankan, who was completely dumbfounded. You heard right, actually lead a city. Kankan. Although it could grow increasingly larger with its growth, if it came to leading an entire city, it was still far from sufficient. For this, when you enhance your talent skills to 4 stars, you need at least 3 skills that can increase your body size, Su Ran added. Jizamixu is one of them, you'll need 2 more. Cha, this. Kankan opened its mouth, then slowly closed it. If its growth stage reached King Stage, its body size should further increase. Together with 3 skills that could enlarge its body size, it might just reach the terrifying size necessary to lead a city. Cha tilde, if it's just about leading an uninhabited city, that might be doable. Although the evolution conditions were outrageous, Kankan was already ready to try in order to become stronger. It probably can't be an uninhabited city, Su Ran shook his head, because there's a second part to your evolution ritual. Carry the city on your back, completing the evolution amidst the blessings of the city's creatures. This means your evolution needs the power of blessings. As Su Ran spoke, his expression became somewhat odd. The previous creature that required blessings to evolve was the sky-touching mysterious wood. But sky-touching mysterious wood evolved into the Holy Spirit race, while Kankan is just evolving into an Emperor species. Chapter 652, 325, An Examination of the Firefly. Content to be added. So, which skill do you plan to enhance to Violent Sun level? After upgrading Star's second talent skill to 4 stars, Su Ran asked. Xilu tilde, Prayer of Starry Night, I guess. Star didn't hesitate much and quickly gave an answer. Although the recently promoted 4-star Star Oath was equally important, bringing Prayer of Starry Night up to Violent Sun level would yield more enhancements. Good, Su Ran nodded slightly. Moments later, on Star's panel, the skill progress and point addition icons behind Prayer of Starry Night disappeared, leaving only the conspicuously large letters of Prayer of Starry Night, Violent Sun level. With that, Star's distribution of resources came to a conclusion. Su Ran's gaze shifted to Kankan and 12, who were waiting aside. Cha tilde, I'll pass. Kankan shook its head. During the recent resource distribution, it had only hoarded some skill fragments. After witnessing the repeated changes to Xian and Star's skill fusion plans, it deeply understood how plans can't keep up with changes and decided to just leave them untouched. Ju tilde, my bewildered heart branding. 12 flapped its wings, eyes filled with anticipation. Upon seeing the skill, it instantly thought of the excellent synergy with Lead Silk Vertical Soul and decisively switched to this skill. This was one of its few gained during this round of resource distribution. Good, Su Ran smiled and nodded, promptly teaching out this skill that had been reserved for 12 in advance. The resource distribution for the 4 little ones was now complete. After tallying the remaining resources and the value points of the 4 little ones, Su Ran put down the chalk in his hand. However, his eyes were still fixed on the blackboard, because there was still one resource on the blackboard that hadn't been exchanged. It was a king species evolution route. At this moment, all four little ones could no longer make use of it. But if the system had it in the lottery drawing, it would not be without reason. After a brief silence, Su-ran suddenly spoke. What are your opinions about Firefly? Meow, Firefly. Xian blinked. That's right, Su-ran nodded. Counting the time, Firefly has already been with us for half a month. What do you think? Is it suitable to become our new companion? Upon comprehending Su-ran's question, the four little ones looked at each other, their expressions a bit more serious. It concerned their future partner. They had to be cautious. After some thought, Star was the first to speak. Tilda, I think it's quite nice but sometimes lacks self-confidence. It quickly recalled a recent incident and shared it with the others. Business at Starfair Foster Care Shop was getting on track, and increasing numbers of residents were in the foster area, including an elite stage fire-tailed bear. After seeing Firefly, it mercilessly mocked Firefly. Perhaps because of past psychological shadows, Firefly was especially quiet when facing the fire-tailed bear, enduring the mockery without retort and later brooding for quite some time before recovering. And this was why Star thought Firefly lacked confidence. Meow Tilda, I actually think it's quite confident, just a bit reckless. Xian countered, its dichromatic eyes gleaming amusedly as if it had remembered something. There was a time when a king stage new resident came to the foster area. As Xian needed to defeat a king stage to evolve, it sought a sparring match with the newcomer. To their surprise, their bout was mistaken by Firefly, who thought Xian was being bullied and charged in with a yell, forgetting it was merely a transcendent stage little Karami. Chatilda, the bird eggs roasted by Firefly are really delicious. Kanken said earnestly. One day, it brought some unknown bird eggs found by the group outside the city to Firefly, who instantly roasted them. The roasted eggs turned out to be incredibly tasty, a flavor Kanken still vividly remembered. 12 gave Kanken an annoyed glare, then voiced its thoughts. Tilda, I think it's quite fun. Over the past half-month, 12 had often used illusions to tease Firefly. Firefly fell for them every time without getting angry and even persistently pestered 12 to keep playing. As each of the four little ones chimed in one after another, a clearer picture of Firefly emerged. And in Su-ran's heart, an answer gradually formed. In that case, let's go and conduct a final assessment of it now. Su-ran stood up. If it passes the assessment, then this king species evolution route will be our gift to it. Assessment. 12 cocked its head, looking puzzled. It didn't remember such a procedure when it joined the team. 12 couldn't help but turn its head towards Kanken, hoping for an explanation. However, Kanken was just as bewildered as 12. After all, it was hatched and contracted by Su-ran from the start, so there was no talk of any assessment. Star thought for a moment, then turned its gaze to Xian. It didn't remember going through such a step either. Meow Tilda, why are you all looking at me? Xian spread its paws. It didn't know either. Stop looking at each other, this is a new idea I had recently, Su-ran smiled. Now that our little companions have grown in number, the requirements for new ones need to be stricter. Chapter 653, 325, An Examination of the Firefly. First and foremost, the most important point in choosing a new partner is still the need for harmony in relationships with all previous partners and no irreconcilable conflicts. Su-ran paused before continuing. Secondly, there should be no conflict in attributes so that we can make better use of our resources. The third point is team positioning. This wasn't something to consider when I contracted with you guys, but now that you all have your respective roles in the team, we need to consider whether the new partner's position will conflict with the existing ones. For example, Su-ran pointed at Xian. Xian's role is as the strongest single target output in the team. Although Xian also has area damage, single targeting is clearly Xian's most prominent feature. Meow Tilda, indeed that's true. Xian nodded in agreement. What about me, what about me? Kanken couldn't help but inquire about its own role. Kanken's position is, of course, as the team's most solid shield, Su-ran smiled. In terms of defense, you are in a class of your own. Besides that, Kanken also bears the important task of being a secondary damage dealer. Hearing Su-ran's words, Kanken couldn't help but puff out its chest proudly. Star's role is to assist and cooperate with me. Su-ran paused for a moment. The existence of Star Oath has bound you and me together. allowing us to cover each other in battle and prevent the typical weaknesses that other beast masters might have. And many a supportive and protective skills lay the foundation for you to assist our teammates in combat. Tilda understood. Star neighed in response. It could be said that among the four, its role was the clearest. As for 12, Suran glanced at 12. Illusion and psychic tactics may not be direct offensive methods, but combined with a comrade's attack, they can often achieve effects greater than the sum of their parts. For the time being, I've assigned you the role of controller hand within the team. Tilda understood. 12 nodded its head. In the past half-month of exploring beyond the city with the other three, their coordination had become increasingly tacit. Oftentimes, all 12 needed to do was cast an endless sleep, and the rest wouldn't require its intervention. This aligned perfectly with the role of controller hand. What about Firefly? Having learned its own role, 12 couldn't help but be curious. Firefly, Suran stroked his chin. Based on the abilities it has shown so far, I've assigned it the role of strongest area damage dealer in the team to coordinate with Xian. But whether it can live up to this role, I'm not sure. Suran paused for a moment. Hence, an evaluation is necessary. Not only to assess Firefly's temperament, but also its potential. Luho, are we starting new training? In the foster area, Firefly looked at the neatly gathered Suran and four companions, its large, crimson eyes reflecting surprise. Yes, Suran nodded with a smile. Your previous training has always been with them, but today I plan to teach you a more efficient way to train. So, are you willing to train according to my arrangements? Firefly's eyes widened instantly, and it nodded earnestly, its face full of anticipation. The efficiency of the training method wasn't as important at this moment. What mattered most to it was that this training was being directed by Suran himself. Over the past half-month, Suran had never appeared during its training sessions. According to the four little ones, Suran was meditating diligently, striving to become stronger. Firefly could understand this, but occasionally felt lonely. Now that Suran was training with it for the first time, it was determined to do its best. With this mindset, Firefly followed closely behind Suran with large strides. Perched on Suran's shoulder, 12 seemed to sense something, turning its head to glance at Firefly, its sea-blue eyes flickering slightly. The other three were silent as well. This was an evaluation. Naturally, they couldn't reveal to Firefly. Soon, Suran and the five little ones arrived at the fire training area. In the past half-month, Firefly had often come here with the other four, making use of this unique environment to train its skills. However, today's training was bound to be different. Suran quickly took out a special material woven blanket, spread it on the flat ground, and then gestured for Firefly to stand on it. Luho, what is this? Firefly hopped curiously on the blanket, its face brimming with curiosity. So, which skill do you plan to advance to Violent Sun level? After raising Star's second talent skill to 4 stars, Suran asked. Tilda, Prayer of Starry Night. Star didn't hesitate much and quickly gave his answer. Though the newly promoted to 4-star Star Oath was also important, raising the proficiency of Prayer of Starry Night to Violent Sun level could bring even more enhancements. Good, Suran nodded slightly. Moments later, on Star's panel, the progress and point allocation indicators for Prayer of Starry Night disappeared, leaving only the conspicuous words Prayer of Starry Night, Violent Sun level. With that, Star's resource utilization reached a pause. Suran's gaze turned to Cancan and 12, who were waiting on the side. Chapter 654, 325, An Examination of the Firefly. Tilda, I don't need it. Cancan shook its head. During the recent resource distribution, it had only hoarded some skill fragments, bearing witness to how Xian and Star's skill fusion plans had changed repeatedly. It deeply realized that plans can't keep up with changes and simply decided to save them for later. Tilda, my bewildered heart branding. 12 flapped its wings once, eyes filled with anticipation. Upon seeing this skill, it immediately thought of how well it could combine with Lead Silk Vertical Soul and decisively swapped for this skill. This was one of its rare gains from this round of resource distribution. All right, Suran smiled and nodded, quickly teaching the skill he had reserved in advance. The resource distribution for the 4 little ones was now complete. After tallying up the remaining undistributed resources and the 4 little ones' surplus value points, Su Ran put down the chalk in his hand. However, his gaze remained fixed on the blackboard, for there was still one resource on the blackboard that had not been redeemed. It was a king species evolution route. At this moment, all four little ones had no need for it. But the system's lottery drawing it out was not without reason. After a moment of silence, Su Ran suddenly spoke. "What do you four think of Firefly?" "Meow, Firefly." Xian blinked its eyes. "That's right," Su Ran nodded. "Considering the time, Firefly has already been with us for half a month. What do you think of it? Is it suitable to be our new partner?" Hearing Su Ran's question, the four little ones looked at each other, their expressions turning more serious. It was about their future partner, so they had to be more careful. After a moment of thought, Star spoke first. "Xilu Tilda, I think it's pretty good, but sometimes it lacks confidence." It quickly recalled an incident from a while back and shared it with the others. The Starfair foster care shop's business had gotten on the right track, and the number of residents in the foster area was increasing. One of these residents happened to be a fire-tailed bear, which had reached the elite stage. Upon seeing Firefly, it didn't hesitate to mock Firefly. Perhaps because of past psychological shadows, Firefly was unusually silent in front of the fire-tailed bear, quietly enduring the ridicule without retorting. It was sulky for several days before it recovered. And this was why Star felt Firefly lacked confidence. "Meow Tilda, I think it's quite confident, just a bit rash." Xian countered, with a hint of amusement in its heterochromatic eyes as it seemed to recall something. Once, a King Stage new resident came to the foster area. Xian needed to defeat a King Stage to evolve, so it wanted to spar with the newcomer. Little did they expect their sparring to be misunderstood by Firefly, who thought Xian was being bullied, let out a scream, and charged right in, completely forgetting it was just a transcendent stage little Kramit. "Now Tilda, the bird eggs roasted by Firefly are delicious." Kankan spoke earnestly. One day, Kankan brought the unidentified beast bird eggs they had found exploring outside the city area the day before to Firefly, and Firefly ended up roasting the eggs. Those roasted eggs were extraordinarily tasty, something that Kankan still remembered vividly. 12 glared at Kankan unimpressed and then expressed its thoughts. "Chirp Tilda, I think it's quite interesting." In the half-month they spent together, 12 frequently used illusions to tease Firefly. Although Firefly was tricked time and again, it never got mad and even pestered 12 to keep playing. The four little ones each had their say, and soon they sketched out an image of Firefly. And in Su Ran's mind, an answer was gradually forming. "If that's the case, let's go and conduct the final evaluation on it right now," Su Ran said as he sat up. "If it passes the evaluation, this king species evolution route can be a gift for it." Chirp evaluation. 12 cocked its head, a puzzled look on its face. It didn't remember any such procedure when it joined the team. Unable to help itself, 12 turned to look at Kankan, hoping for an explanation. Yet Kankan was nearly as confused as 12. After all, it had been contracted by Su Ran upon hatching, so there was no such assessment to speak of. Star thought for a moment before turning to Xian for answers. It, too, didn't remember going through such a step. "Meow Tilda, why are you looking at me?" Xian spread its paws. It didn't know either. "Stop looking at each other. This is a recent idea of mine." Su Ran chuckled. "As more and more little partners join us, the requirements for our new friends have to be more strict. First and foremost, and most important in choosing a new partner, is that they need to have harmonious relationships with all previous partners, with no irreconcilable conflicts." Su Ran's voice paused for a moment. "Besides that, the second requirement is that their attributes don't conflict with one another, allowing us to make better use of resources. And the third point is the role within the team. This wasn't necessary when I contracted you guys, but now that you all have established roles within the team, we have to consider whether the roles of new partners will clash when making selections. For example," Su Ran pointed to Xian. "Xian's role is as the team's strongest single-target damage dealer. Although Xian also does area damage, single target is clearly Xian's most outstanding feature." Chapter 655, 325, An Examination of the Firefly. However, today's training was destined to be different. Su Ran quickly took out a blanket woven from a special material and spread it on the flat ground, then signaled Fire to stand on it. "Luhu, what is this?" Fire hopped curiously on the blanket, its face full of wonder. Star's position is to assist and cooperate with me. Suran paused. The existence of Star Oath binds you and me together. In battle, our joint effort can prevent the team from having the usual weaknesses of a beast master. And the many augmentation and defense skills are the foundation for you to assist teammates in battle. Zalutilda understood. Star gave a whinny in response. It could be said that, among the four little ones, its position was the clearest. As for Can-Can, Suran glanced at Can-Can. Illusory realms and psychic tactics may not be direct offensive methods, but when combined with a companion's attack, they can often achieve an effect greater than the sum of their parts. For now, the role I assign to you is the team's controller hand. Chiutilda understood. Can-Can nodded. In the past half-month of exploring outside the city with the other three little ones, their coordination had also become increasingly tacit. Often, Can-Can only needed to cast endless sleep, and it didn't need to worry about the rest. This coincided perfectly with the role of the controller hand. Chiu, and what about fire? Now knowing its own role, Can-Can couldn't help but become curious. Fire, huh? Suran stroked his chin. Based on the abilities it has shown so far, I have assigned it the role of the strongest group attacker in the team, to coordinate with Xian. But whether it is up to the task, I'm not sure, Suran paused. Therefore, it needs to be assessed. Not only to assess Fire's temperament, but also its potential. Luhu, are we starting new training? Inside the foster area, Fire looked at the neatly arrayed one person with four beasts, its big red eyes showing a hint of surprise. Yes, Suran nodded, his face wearing a smile. Previously, your training was always accompanied by them, but today I plan to teach you some more efficient training methods. So, would you like to train according to my arrangements? Fire's eyes widened in earnest, nodding seriously with an expectant look on its face. Whether the training methods were efficient was not so important at the moment. What mattered most was that this was training directed personally by Suran. In the past half-month, Suran had never appeared during its training. According to what the four little ones said, Suran was meditating hard, striving to become stronger. Fire could understand this, but sometimes it felt lonely. Now that Suran was accompanying it in training for the first time, it was determined to do its best. With this mindset, Fire followed closely behind Suran with big steps. Perched on Suran's shoulder, Can-Can seemed to sense something, turning its head to glance at Fire, its sea-blue eyes flickering slightly. The other three little ones remained silent as well. This being an assessment, they naturally couldn't tell Fire. Soon, Suran and the five little ones arrived at the Fire training area. In the past half-month, Fire hadn't been short on visits here with the company of the other four little ones, utilizing the unique environment to train its skills. However, today's training was destined to be different. Suran quickly took out a blanket woven from a special material and spread it on the flat ground, then signaled Fire to stand on it. Luhu, what is this? Fire hopped curiously on the blanket, its face full of wonder. Chapter 656, 326, giving Xian City a bit of a shock. Content to be added. Poison Fire Bear, huh? Receiving the Firefly's answer, Suran nodded his head without surprise. The abilities of the Poison Fire Bear were indeed very similar to the Firefly's abilities after its mutation. Evolving into this evolutionary route could bring out its characteristics to a greater extent. Then let's see what the Poison Fire Bear's evolution path requires. He laughed heartily and then, without further hesitation, chose the Poison Fire Bear. As other evolution paths faded away one by one, the evolution route for the Poison Fire Bear finally unfolded before Suran's eyes. Evolution path: Fire Ear Bear Fire, right arrow Poison Fire Bear Fire. Evolution difficulty. Evolution potential. Evolution conditions. Fire Ear Bear has not broken through to the leadership stage. Fire Ear Bear's talent skills must be elevated to 3-star skills before evolving. Other skills must reach waning moon level proficiency. Undying Flame must reach full moon level proficiency. Evolution materials: Heart-burning poisonous flame marrow main, Fire King level blood essence main, Fire purifying stone main, Earth core fire seed life dewdrop transcendence flower. Missing main material guarantees failure of evolution. Absence of auxiliary materials reduces success rate of evolution. Evolution ritual: absorb a large amount of fire poison in the place where heart-burning poisonous flame marrow grows to complete the final evolution. After reviewing the entire evolution path from start to finish, Su-ran touched his chin uncontrollably. This evolution path. Luhu, is it very hard? The firefly asked with concern. At this moment, every move Su-ran made affected its heart deeply. Not too difficult, Su-ran shook his head. Although the firefly's evolution conditions were a bit more stringent compared to the four little ones, including the normal skill upgrades and the specific demand for undying flame to reach full moon level. But to Su-ran at this moment, it was not difficult to achieve. It could be considered trivial. What intrigued him more was the firefly's evolution ritual. It required the completion of evolution in the birthplace of the most important main material for evolution, which meant that it wouldn't be quite right to exchange for the evolution material called heart-burning poisonous flame marrow through the usual channels of the Beast Master Association. Preferably, acquiring this resource in its place of origin, and then immediately carrying out the evolution would be best. Soon, Su-ran informed the firefly of all the requirements for evolution. Hearing this somewhat distant evolution information, the firefly's head went blank. Evolution seemed so difficult. Watching the bewildered firefly, 12 barely held back a laugh and extended its wings to pat its head. Tilda, don't worry, it's not as difficult as you think. Once upon a time, it had felt the same upon hearing its own evolution path for the first time, as if it were unattainable. However, it turned out that with Su-ran, these things indeed weren't difficult. No need to rush. Su-ran patted the firefly's head and smiled reassuringly. You remember the training methods I taught you today, right? Next, focus on training Undying Flame and try to improve the skill proficiency of Undying Flame as much as possible. As for the others, once I break through the 5th stage contract power and the contract is completed, the evolution will surely proceed smoothly. Luhu, no problem. The firefly nodded vigorously. Anyway, training was all it took. In the air, it waved its bare paws with vigor and was about to continue training. It felt the world spin the next moment, and when it came to its senses, it realized it had appeared in the foster area. You have already trained in the fire training area for 8 hours today, which is over the limit. Su-ran smiled. Balance work with rest will continue tomorrow. Tilda will include you in our training next time. Star let out a purring sound, its eyes carrying a hint of affection. From now on, they would have one more hardworking little partner in their training sessions. Xian, check how much longer we have. Standing on the scorched vegetation below, electrified by the dense thunder force in the air, Su-ran stared at the flashing lightning in the sky and suddenly spoke. Mutilda, about 5 more days. Xian closed its eyes slightly, and after a sensing session, quickly provided the exact time when the extinct thunder attraction would appear. 5 days, huh? Su-ran's eyes were pensive, and after a moment he nodded. Then there's still time. We should head back to Xian City. Su-ran turned his head, looking back at the 4 little ones. It had been 10 days since the last resource distribution. During these 10 days, the 4 little ones had fully digested the power from their last improvement, and their strength had significantly advanced. Xian, after its own relentless efforts, had already upgraded its 4 skills to the Violent Sun level proficiency. Now, only 3 skills were left, needing just a few more skill points in the next distribution to fulfill the proficiency requirement for evolution. And only the Thunder Shake Heavenly Sound skill, remaining to be enhanced to 3 stars, was set to be upgraded during the next resource allocation. It was getting closer and closer to its evolution. Following close behind was Star. Although only 2 skills were raised to 4 stars, Star has always been the most diligent in training among the 4 little ones, not at all falling short in skill proficiency compared to Xian, who had the most points added. With steady progress, it had successively reached Violent Sun level proficiency in 3 skills over the past 10 days, now catching up with Xian. Can, seemingly motivated by Xian and Star's simultaneous proficiency breakthroughs, also intensified its training. Its only 4-star skill, Land of Destruction, had likewise achieved Violent Sun level proficiency. Chapter 657, 326, giving Xian City a bit of a shock. Compared to the 3 pets that had joined the team earlier, 12's progress was a little more modest. Having just broken through to the general level not long ago, it hadn't had time to raise all its skills to the Halo level, but it already possessed 2 Halo level skills. In addition to the 4 pets' diligent efforts, Firefly, who had not yet formed an official contract and joined this family, was also striving hard. During the relentless training of the past 10 days, it successfully raised the proficiency of its undying flame to the waning moon level. It should be noted that this was achieved without any additional points allocated. Reaching such skill proficiency was quite a feat for Firefly. While working hard to become stronger, Su-ran and the 4 pets never ceased their exploration of the areas outside the city. Apart from the depths of Fallen Thunder Valley, which they had yet to penetrate so as not to alarm any potential threats, they had explored all other regions, and their harvest was far from meager. Now, as the emergence of extinct thunder attraction drew ever closer, and the unusual phenomena of thunderbolts became increasingly distinct, the entire atmosphere of Fallen Thunder Valley grew progressively tense. At such a critical time, the man and his 4 pets had other plans in mind. Because Su-ran was just one step away from the 5th stage contract power. Once Su-ran broke through, Can-Can, who could evolve after ascending to the king stage, would be the first to make the breakthrough. With the strength of the Beast King level, it would add considerable weight to the contest for the extinct thunder attraction. But before that, they needed to visit Xian City, to blaze through the Beast Trainer ranking at the general level, and claim all the rewards due to them. Otherwise, the loss would be more than just trifling. Tweet tilde, are we going to challenge the Beast Trainer ranking? 12 issued an expectant cry, its eyes filled with eager anticipation. Previously, when the 3 younger pets took on the Beast Trainer ranking at the leadership stage in Xian City, it hadn't formed a contract with Su-ran, and thus couldn't accompany him to Xian City. After hearing the 3 pets vividly recount their honors and gains from the Beast Trainer ranking, 12's envy was undeniable. Now it finally had its chance to participate. Xian City, the Beast Master Association, the Beast Trainer ranking. Every day, Beast Masters come to this majestic and towering structure. They either admire the powerful Beast Masters listed, listening to others narrate their glorious exploits, or they attempt to climb the ranking themselves to gauge the gap between them and those on the list, each with different goals in mind. On this particular day, a group of new faces appeared in front of the Beast Trainer ranking. Looking up at the lofty Jade-like lists, their faces bore expressions of eager anticipation. "Is this the Beast Trainer ranking of Xian City?" asked one of the Beast Masters with a flamboyant hairstyle, chuckling. "I've heard this place bears the footsteps of the strongest Beast Masters throughout Xian City's history. I wonder, how many can Yun Tianao surpass?" "Young man, you sure are confident. Surpassing how many?" A middle-aged uncle beside him couldn't help but speak out upon hearing this. "Are you from out of town?" "Tianao, be quiet." The leading Beast Master patted the man known as Yun Tianao, then greeted the middle-aged uncle with a slight bow. "Uncle has good insight. We come from Zhou City." "May I ask, where is the ranking list for general-level Beast Masters?" "The general stage." The middle-aged uncle's expression changed slightly upon hearing this, as the man before him appeared very young, seemingly not even 30 years old. At such an age, to have reached the general level, one must surely be extraordinary. "Over there." The middle-aged uncle pointed to the area where the general-level Beast Trainer ranking was located, then turned and left. "Hey, uncle, don't go." Yun Tianao shouted, seemingly still wanting to drag the middle-aged uncle along, but he was stopped by the lead man. "Let's go take a look," the leading man said, shaking his head slightly, then led his group in the direction indicated by the uncle. "Tianao, we must be more careful here in Xian City," the leader advised as they walked. "What's there to be careful about?" Yun Tianao replied dismissively. "We've come for the exchange battle precisely to show them what we've got. Otherwise, these Beast Masters from Xian City might think they're the best in the world." Yun Tianao snorted. "We acknowledge President Fang Kanghai's strength. But our Zhou City is the 47th Beastfield's most dangerous second-level town. With a minor beast tied every 3 days and a major one every 5 days, any Beast Master that survives is someone who has fought their way out of a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. There are none that aren't strong. In comparison, Xian City's younger generation is like flowers grown in a greenhouse. What do they have to compare with us?" Hearing this, the others from Zhou City also showed approving expressions. It was clear that at heart, they didn't hold much regard for the Beast Masters of Xian City. "Don't underestimate the Beast Masters from other cities," the leader warned them, but seeing that his companions were unconvinced, he shook his head and gave up the lesson. He halted his steps, looking at the towering beast trainer ranking in front of him. He spoke slowly. You already know the rules for challenging the ranking from our journey here. With that said, let's give it a shot. Heh heh, that's what I've been waiting to hear, Yun Tianao chuckled, and then rushed without hesitation towards the list he had already identified. The others dispersed like birds and beasts, each dashing towards different lists. Before long, the clang of bells cascaded one after another, echoing throughout the beast trainer ranking area. One after another, the lists lit up, clearly indicating a widespread attempt at climbing the rankings. Chapter 658, 326, giving Xi'an City a bit of a shock. Such a spectacle immediately attracted the attention of the entire beast trainer ranking area. The gasps and buzzing discussions blended into one when they saw the high-ranking names newly parachuted one by one onto the lists, all prefixed with Zhou Tian. Without question, these beast masters hailed from Zhou Tian City. As the top ranks of the beast trainer ranking were occupied one after another by these outsiders, the beast masters of Xi'an City grew restless. This was a clear challenge to their territory. Make calls, rally the troops. One by one, local ranked beast masters of Xi'an City were summoned, and the battle for rankings between the two cities was on the verge of ignition. Although Xi'an City wasn't short of strong competitors, who consecutively stepped up to claim ranks to regain face for the city's beast masters, it was to the crowd's astonishment that those from Zhou Tian City were indeed stronger. The moment the most prestigious position of the general-level beast master overall power ranking was taken by Zhou Tian City's Yun Tianao, a collective sigh swept through the beast trainer ranking area. At testing area D01, Yun Tianao looked at his own name proudly displayed at the top of the most prestigious list within the general stage ranks, and a smug smile appeared on his face. Eyeing the disappointed beast masters from Xi'an City before him, he sneered, "You beast masters of general level from Xi'an City aren't up to the mark. Is this the best you can do? What are you so proud about?" One of them couldn't hold back and spoke out, "You've only claimed the first place on the current ranking. In the historical rankings, you've barely made it into the top 10. Historical rankings? Yun Tianao glanced at the historical rankings board next to him and could not help but click his tongue lightly. You people from Xi'an City really can't take a loss. What's the point if Chairman Fang's ranking in history cannot be transcended? No, you're wrong. Another beast tamer suddenly interjected. Chairman Fang's ranking on the historical rankings isn't invincible. He has been surpassed by someone else. And that person is now also a general-level beast master. Oh, who is it? A flicker of surprise crossed Yun Tiano's eyes, yet his tone remained unforgiving. Is it Liu Chen or Wu Zhufeng? The two names he mentioned belonged to the two strongest general-level beast masters of Xi'an City, both of whom currently ranked second and third in the overall power listing, just below him. It's neither, one of the beast masters huffed. If he hadn't left Xi'an City, it wouldn't be your turn to run wild here today. Heh, don't tell me you've made up someone. Yun Tianao showed a scornful sneer. I'm not in the mood for your petty bragging. If such a person exists, let him show up. Look, Yun Tianao pointed to his own name that now dominated over all others from Xi'an City. I am the first place now. Clang! Just as Yun Tiano's words fell, a clear bell tolled suddenly. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, the general-level beast master overall power ranking, where Yun Tiano's name hung high, began to flicker. Amidst the emerging lights, a brazenly new name shoved Yun Tiano's down with force, becoming the new number one. First place, Starfare Foster Care Shop, overall strength, 46,921,433. Yun Tianao. Seeing the name that had just parachuted above his own, his mind went blank. What in the world was this? This overall strength score had literally doubled his own. Was this even achievable for a general-level beast master? Before he could collect his thoughts, the changing ranks on the historical rankings took his breath away. Fang Kanghai, who had previously dominated the first place of the historical rankings, was now trampled under the same name. This newcomer had transcended the achievements of the general levels Fang Kanghai. How was this possible? At that moment, only one question surged in Yun Tiano's mind. Who was he? And around him, after a moment of silence, the beast masters suddenly erupted into unanimous cheers. It's Boss Su. Boss Su is back. When did he get here? It wasn't just now, was it? No matter when, his arrival couldn't be more timely. Exactly. The voices buzzed with excitement, while the crowd surged toward testing area D01. Under everyone's gaze, the entrance to testing area D01 revealed the figures of one man and four beasts. Seeing the people approaching him, Suran was first startled, then revealed his signature smile. Everyone, long time no see. Bossu, long time no see. How many days will Bossu stay this time? Bossu, I've missed you so much. The enthusiastic responses made Suran's smile even broader. After being away for so long, he hadn't expected Xi'an City's patrons to be still so warm. Enough talk now, I need to check out another ranking list, Suran said, pointing to the neighboring D02 testing area. I just got back and need to hurry up and challenge all the lists. If I remember correctly, isn't the ranking settlement tomorrow? Take your time, Boss Su. After you, sir. The crowd quickly made way, allowing Suran to proceed to the next testing area smoothly. Meanwhile, Yun Tianao finally managed to squeeze out of the crowd. Watching the retreating figures of Suran and his four small companions, he couldn't hold back his inquiry. Who is that? That's Boss Su, the only man who has ever surpassed Chairman Fang's historical accomplishments. One of the Xi'an City Beast Masters chuckled. You folks from Zhou Tian City should get a taste of the real gap. Chapter 659, 326, giving Xi'an City a bit of a shock. Almost right after the Beast Master's words fell, the same bell sounded throughout the entire Beast Trainer ranking. Pet Beast Comprehensive Power Listing Number 1, an unexpected arrival. It was as if a magical switch had been flipped, and the leaderboards at the general stage level began flipping rapidly, undergoing a complete shuffle in no time. By the time Suran walked out of the last testing area, the top rows of all the leaderboards prominently featured the words, Starfear Foster Care Shop. Everyone stop following me. I need to head back to open the shop, said Suran, waving to the countless people trailing behind him as he walked out. For the next 2 days, all services at Starfear Foster Care Shop are 20% off. Everyone's welcome. With that, Suran mounted Star and hurriedly made his escape. The onlookers at Xi'an City's Beast Trainer ranking were as numerous as before, unstoppable. The Beast Masters of Zhou Tian City, for some reason, had already regrouped. Watching Suran's departing figure, the leading Beast Master suddenly pulled an onlooker to the side and started asking questions. Excuse me, what services was he referring to? You don't know yet. The Starfear Foster Shop is a foster shop here in Xi'an City, and Boss Su is the owner of that shop. The onlooker replied with a hey-hey laugh to the group from Zhou Tian City. I suggest you give it a try. Their services are truly outstanding. The owner of a foster shop, Yun Tianao, fell silent. They, the talented Beast Masters of Zhou Tian City, had actually been defeated by the owner of a foster shop. It seems he hasn't really looked at us at all, another Beast Master from Zhou Tian City muttered under his breath. He couldn't have just come here by chance, could he? As soon as these words were spoken, the crowd from Zhou Tian City became even more silent. At this moment, silence was more powerful than any words. Chairman, our Xi'an City's Beast Trainer ranking has just been taken over by the Beast Masters from Zhou Tian City. Do we really not need to intervene? In front of Fang Kanghai, the deputy spoke with a slightly anxious expression. At this rate, without waiting for the exchange battle to begin, the confidence of our Beast Masters in Xi'an City will already be almost shattered. Intervene. Fang Kanghai calmly took a sip of his tea and shook his head slightly. When outmatched, how can we intervene? The deputy was momentarily at a loss for words, clearly stumped by Fang Kanghai's question. Indeed, were they to manipulate the rankings from behind the scenes and cancel them, wouldn't that destroy the century-old credibility of the Beast Trainer ranking? So we just stand by and watch. The deputy couldn't help but ask again for confirmation. We just stand by and watch. Fang Kanghai nodded slightly, his face emotionless. Now it's Zhou Tian. Before long, others from the second-level towns will take action as well. A livelier Beast Trainer ranking is better with more people. There's one more thing, Chairman. The deputy took a deep breath. The exchange battle is related to the future influence of the Stronghold Alliance. Given our poor performance on the Beast Trainer ranking, do we really stand a chance in the exchange battle? Well, Fang Kanghai picked up the teacup in his hand, and a figure couldn't help but appear in his mind. He took a sip of tea, then set down the teacup and slowly spoke. There will be a way when we get to the mountain. The assistant looked at Fang Kanghai and fell silent. In his memory, Fang Kanghai always seemed extremely composed in the face of anything, never startled or upset by any event. Perhaps this was the true Chairman Fang. In comparison, he still lacked maturity. The deputy thought to himself, when suddenly the door to the office was pushed open. Fang Yuling walked in quickly, smiling as she said, "Dad, your ranking on the historical listings has been surpassed again. This time, it's at the general level." Fang Kanghai's eyebrows raised slightly. "Zhou Tian has such a talent." "No," Fang Yuling shook her head slightly. "Boss Su has returned." Swoosh! A faint sound of rushing wind was heard, and by the time the deputy came back to his senses, both Fang Yuling and Fang Kanghai had vanished from the office. The deputy fell into silence once more. So Chairman Fang also has this side to him. "Stop following me, I have to get back to the shop," Su Ran said, waving his hand at the countless people trailing behind him as he walked away. "For the next 2 days, all services at Starfair Foster Care Shop will be 20% off. Everyone's welcome." After dropping this remark, Su Ran mounted Star and hastily made his escape. The onlookers at the Xi'an City Beast Trainer ranking were just as numerous as before, unbearable. The Beast Masters from Zhou Tian City had somehow already regrouped. Watching Su Ran's retreating figure, the leading Beast Master suddenly grabbed a bystander, asking aloud, "Excuse me, what service was he talking about?" "You do know? The Starfair Foster is a foster shop in our Xi'an City, and Boss Su is the owner of the shop," the onlooking crowd replied with a heh-heh laugh, seeing these visitors from Zhou Tian City. "I suggest you give it a try, their services are really great." The owner of a foster shop, Yun Tiano, fell silent. Were these geniuses from Zhou Tian City really defeated by the owner of a foster shop? "It seems he never looked at us from start to finish," another Beast Master from Zhou Tian City muttered under their breath. "Could it be that he just happened to be here?" At this remark, the people of Zhou Tian City grew even quieter. At this moment, silence spoke louder than words. "Chairman, the Beast Trainer ranking of our Xi'an City has been taken over by Zhou Tian City's Beast Masters. Shouldn't we intervene somehow?" Before Fang Kanghai, his deputy spoke with an anxious expression. "If this continues, without even waiting for the exchange battle to begin, our Xi'an City Beast Masters' confidence will have been thoroughly shattered." "Intervene?" Fang Kanghai sipped his tea indifferently, shaking his head slightly. "If the skill is inferior, how can we intervene?" The deputy was at a loss for words, apparently stumped by Fang Kanghai's question as well. Indeed, were they expected to rig the results and cancel their rankings? If they did that, the 100-year credibility of the Beast Trainer ranking would be ruined in an instant. "So we just watch," the deputy couldn't help but confirm once more. "Let's just watch," Fang Kanghai nodded faintly, his expression steady. "Now it's Zhou Tian City coming to us. In a while, other second-level towns will take action too. The Beast Trainer ranking, the more people the merrier." "There's one more thing, Chairman." The deputy took a deep breath. "The exchange battle relates to the future say in the Stronghold Alliance. With such poor performance on the Beast Trainer ranking, do we really stand a chance in the exchange battle?" "Well," Fang Kanghai lifted the teacup in his hand, an image involuntarily surfacing in his mind. He took a sip of the tea, then placed the cup down, speaking slowly. "There's always a solution when we get to the bridge." The assistant looked at Fang Kanghai and fell silent. In their memory, Fang Kanghai always seemed extremely composed, never surprised or perturbed by anything. Perhaps that's what Chairman Fang really is. In comparison, they still had a long way to go to reach such maturity. This thought crossed the deputy's mind when suddenly, the office door was pushed open. Fang Yuling stepped briskly into the office, smiling as she spoke. "Dad, your historical rankings have been transcended again. This time, it's someone of the general stage." Fang Kanghai's eyebrows rose slightly. "Does Zhou Tian City have such a talent?" "No," Fang Yuling shook her head slightly. "Boss Su is back." Whoosh! A faint sound of the wind breaking was heard, and by the time the deputy came back to their senses, Fang Yuling and Fang Kanghai had both disappeared from the office. The deputy fell into silence once more. So Chairman Fang also has this side to him. Chapter 660, 327, Fang Kanghai's Purpose and the Upper Realm's Scrutiny. King Stage, I have arrived." Can let out a lofty cry of triumph, and then decisively stepped out of the shackles that had already loosened. Its momentum climbed step by step, surpassing the general stage in an exceedingly short time and reaching an even higher realm. Vast Earth attribute power swirled around Can-Can. The outline of its body began to blur. As if with the enhancement of strength, its body naturally wanted to expand, but was controlled by Can-Can to shrink back to its original size. Eventually, Can-Can's aura stabilized once more. Although it seemed no different from before on the surface, there was already a significant change in its presence. The faint aura that emerged carried the majesty of a monarch. King Stage. Feeling its current strength, Can-Can's bright golden eyes were filled with excitement. At this moment, it felt like it could take on 10 beast kings. Contract pet beast, Can-Can. Race name, Panlong Turtle. Attribute, Earth attribute. Growth stage, King Stage, 128.2 W150W. Species rank, King Species. Skills, giving body to fertile soil halo level, 23,128 50000 plus. Land of Destruction, Violent Sun level. Eternal Iron Wall halo level, 32,396 50000 plus. Echoing of Earth Vein halo level, 42,165 50000 plus. Jizamixu halo level, 41,174 50000 plus. Dragon Turtle's power halo level, 37,986 50000 plus. Subterranean Shape Pond halo level, 32,489 50000 plus. Seeing that Can-Can's stats had increased more than fourfold from before, Su-Ran nodded slightly. With such strength, they now had a trump card to compete openly with other powerful entities hiding in shadows for the extinct thunder attraction. Meow Tilda, let's have Can-Can be the strongest in our team for a while. Seeing Can-Can's strength had far surpassed her own after its advancement, Zion's face showed a hint of competitive spirit. The position of the strongest in the team was only temporarily conceded. Once she evolved and successfully broke through to the king stage, she would regain the title of the strongest in the team. After the points are settled, we'll head back to Bright Radiant City, Su-Ran said with a silent smile, looking at Zion's competitive demeanor before speaking softly. All four little ones responded in unison, revealing their anticipation. The rewards from the beast trainer ranking at the general level were already 10 times that of the leadership stage, and the points they had earned from today's onslaught on the rankings were significant. Once these rewards were credited, they could exchange them for numerous resources. Just as one man and 4 beasts were indulging in their fantasies, a soft knock came from outside the door, and the voice of the fishing old man soon followed from outside. "Boss, there's someone here to see you." "To see me?" Surprise appeared on Su-Ran's face as he quickly stood up, made a gesture to the 4 little ones, and then opened the door. The 4 little ones followed closely behind Su-Ran as they all stepped out of the room. The next moment, they saw the visitor standing behind the fishing old man. "Fang Yuling, long time no see," Su-Ran greeted with a smile upon seeing the familiar face, but he quickly realized something and turned his head toward the calm and composed middle-aged man standing in front of Fang Yuling. "Are you Chairman Fang?" "It's me," Fang Kanghai nodded slightly, gazing intently at Su-Ran. "I never expected that Xian City would have a beast master prodigy like you." "I am far from being a prodigy, just a bit luckier than others," Su-Ran responded modestly, which was also true to some extent. However, such a response seemed too understated in the eyes of the Fang father and daughter. Fang Yuling's lips twitched involuntarily. If this guy in front of her wasn't considered a prodigy, then what was she? After a pause, Fang Kanghai also couldn't help but laugh heartily. "Good lad," Fang Kanghai regarded Su-Ran with an appreciative look. "I wanted to invite you to represent Xian City in the exchange battle taking place in half a month, but it seems I'm a step too late." The exchange battle. Su-Ran patted his forehead, only then remembering such an event. But missing this exchange battle did not cause him any regrets, for his breakthrough to the 5th stage was essential to increase Xian's chances of acquiring the extinct thunder attraction. "Chairman Fang, I have a question." Looking at Fang Kanghai up close, Su-Ran suddenly spoke up. "You seem really keen on uniting the human cities in Beast Field 47 and even beyond. Why is that?" This question had long been on Su-Ran's mind. The first time he left Kingju City for Xian City and engaged in exchanges with young beast masters from other cities, it was for this purpose. The upcoming exchange battle was also driven by this aim. Why exactly was Chairman Fang so persistent about this matter? You want to know? Hearing Su Ran's question, Fang Kanghai's eyes flashed, then he smiled faintly. Actually, it's not that complicated. If I'm not mistaken, you were also in the monster wooden domain when the demon wood half-saint evolved, Fang Kanghai continued. Yes, Su Ran nodded slightly. Fang Yuling looked at Su Ran in surprise and then appeared to realize something, a look of enlightenment crossing her face. At that time, Fang Yuling and Fang Kanghai had first sought out Su Ran, who had just left Xian City, and they had not encountered each other. At that time, Su Ran was on his way to Monster Wooden City. Shortly after Su Ran's arrival at Monster Wooden City, the Monster Wooden Domain experienced such a world-shaking upheaval. Chapter 661, 327, Fang Kanghai's Purpose and the Upper Realm's Scrutiny. For a moment, Fang Yuling looked at Su Ran with a sense of discomfort in her gaze. Could it be that Su Ran was also involved with the affairs of the Monster Wood Domain? I didn't really do much, Su Ran coughed lightly as he noticed Fang Yuling's strange look. I just helped the Monster Wood Semi-Saint prepare for the evolution ritual. Fang Yuling. You call that not doing much? The evolution ritual. Fang Kanghai also fell silent for a moment before shaking his head slightly. As for the matter, it all started with the Monster Wood Semi-Saint's evolution. In fact, when I had just become an Emperor-level Beast Master more than a decade ago, the Monster Wood Domain had already caught my attention. After all, the order there was completely different, and it was of significant referential importance for other second-level towns. Fang Kanghai said, with a hint of nostalgia in his eyes. I visited the sky-touching mysterious wood. Perhaps because my strength was comparable to it at the time, the sky-touching mysterious wood treated me very courteously, and even disclosed its plans to me. When I learned of the sky-touching mysterious wood's purpose for establishing the Monster Wood Domain, I was shocked, Fang Kanghai said with a smile. Preparing for hundreds of years, building an area that is a paradise for both humans and transcendent beings, all for the sake of its own evolution. Such grandeur was something I couldn't match. Without any hesitation, I decided to help the sky-touching mysterious wood. Fang Kanghai's voice paused slightly. After all, it was clear to anyone that the successful evolution of the sky-touching mysterious wood would be beneficial to humanity. Indeed, Su Ran couldn't help but nod, feeling surprised at the same time. Chairman Fang helped the sky-touching mysterious wood. Then why didn't I see Chairman Fang's figure on the day of the sky-touching mysterious wood's evolution? You must be wondering why you didn't see me that day, Fang Kanghai said with a smile, noticing Su Ran's confusion and asking. Indeed, Su Ran didn't hide his thoughts after being directly addressed. He nodded and looked at Fang Kanghai. Chairman Fang, where were you at that time? I was intercepting the remaining beast emperors while deterring some guys who were preparing to make a move in secret. Fang Kanghai's eyes flashed with a chilling intent. These guys had been hiding in the 47th beast field for a long time, just waiting for the moment to strike during the evolution of the sky-touching mysterious wood. The obstacles the sky-touching mysterious wood faced during its evolution were far more than the 5 beast emperors you saw. Su Ran couldn't help but inhale sharply. So the evolution of the sky-touching mysterious wood was even more perilous than I had imagined. It seems like we've strayed a bit, Fang Kanghai said, shaking his head slightly. Overall, based on the unique rules and stance of the sky-touching mysterious wood, I had to help it complete its evolution. But the evolution of the sky-touching mysterious wood is a double-edged sword. It will add a powerful ally to the human side, but it will also draw the attention of the upper domain to the inconspicuous 47th beast field. Upper domain, not quite understanding, Su Ran couldn't help but ask aloud. Just as human cities are connected to each other, beast fields are tightly linked due to the strict hierarchy among wild groups of transcendent beings. This connection is more like a superior-subordinate relationship. Beast Emperor-level beast fields command the Beast King-level beast fields, which are in turn governed by the Saint Spirit-level beast fields, Fang Kanghai said, his speech pausing briefly. This relationship defines the hierarchy of upper and lower domains. Like many other Beast Emperor-level beast fields, the 47th beast field is subordinate to the 8th beast field, Fang Kanghai said with a note of gravity. Originally, the 8th beast field wouldn't bother with a Beast Emperor-level domain. Being of the upper domain, they are even more arrogant and would not easily meddle with the affairs of the lower domain. Fang Kanghai's speech halted for a moment. This arrogance gave humans a much-needed breathing space. But now have the upper domain set their sights on the 47th beast field because of the monster wood semi-saint? Su Ran asked, catching a hint of subtext in Fang Kanghai's words. Exactly, Fang Kanghai nodded slightly. Once targeted by the upper domain, the 47th beast field will become even more dangerous, and the human cities here need to unite as quickly as possible. That's the main reason I've been tirelessly working towards the formation of the City Alliance. I understand, Su Ran said, a look of realization dawning on him. Fang Kanghai had long been planning to help the monster wood semi-saint's evolution, even anticipating the response from the upper domains after its successful evolution. And for this reason, he had been urging human cities to ally swiftly. Fang Yuling, standing to the side, looked at her father with a changed expression. Even she had never heard about the things her father was discussing just now. She wasn't even aware of her father's involvement in the evolution of the monster wood semi-saint. No need to mention these prophetic plannings and actions. Was his father really this insightful? At this moment within his daughter's heart, Fang Kanghai's figure grew even more imposing. Can I help the Alliance in any way? Su Ran suddenly asked. Only now did he realize the exigency the Human City Alliance had reached. Originally, you could have participated in the exchange battles. Fang Kanghai's tone paused for a moment. But now, you'd better focus on improving your strength. Everything has been arranged. Having the will is enough. The beast master points of your beast trainer ranking settlement, I've already arranged for someone to settle them in advance for you. They are now in your account. A hint of a smile flickered in Fang Kanghai's eyes. You're in need of these points now, aren't you? Having said that, Fang Kanghai didn't wait for Su Ran to respond, and taking Fang Yuling, turned and left. It wasn't until the figures of the Fang family father and daughter disappeared that Su Ran suddenly reacted, looking toward his own beast master account. On the account, a string of beast master points dazzled him a little. They were actually credited. Not only the points earned through breaking into the historical rankings, but also this week's settlement reward points had been credited at the same time. Exchange right now. Su Ran took a deep breath, turning his head towards the equally excited four little ones. Meow, I'll go first. Xian was the first to step forward, its face full of intense anticipation. Its main materials for evolution were the extinct thunder attraction, extreme source vein crystal, thunder attribute emperor stage blood essence, brilliant gem, and eternal life calamity dew, 5 items in total. Of these, the extreme source vein crystal had already been successfully acquired during the battle of 10,000 tribes in the monster wooden domain, and news of the extinct thunder attraction had been found, with its emergence expected in a few days. Su Ran had always neglected to search for the remaining 3 resources for Xian, because these 3 resources were available within the Beast Master Association of Xian City. However, due to a lack of sufficient Beast Master points, they had not been exchanged. Now, that was no longer an issue. With the credit from the reward for making it up the rankings, purchasing the remaining 3 resources was more than enough for Su Ran. Without any hesitation, he chose to exchange. Then Su Ran immediately turned his gaze to the equally excited star next to him. Star's evolution also required many materials. Town Star Stone, Dawn Star Radiance, Star Scar Nightlight Stone, Dark Emperor Level Blood Essence, Brilliant Gem, Eternal Life Calamity Dew. A total of 6 evolution materials, except for the Star Scar Nightlight Stone, which was also acquired in the Battle of 10,000 Tribes. The other 5 were yet to be found. Through the Beast Master Association's point exchange, Su Ran successfully obtained the last 3 for it. Now only 2 resources, Town Star Stone and Dawn Star Radiance, were left. Next was Kankan's evolution materials. The Earth Attribute Dragon Emperor Stage Blood Essence, Brilliant Gem, and Eternal Life Calamity Dew were all succinctly acquired, completing half the collection of evolution materials instantly. Although the remaining half was bound to be very difficult, the future looked promising. Since the subsequent evolution path had not yet been obtained, the portion of the Beast Master points belonging to 12 was temporarily reserved by Su Ran. Once 12 also received the Emperor Species evolution path, they would proceed with the exchange. Su Ran also didn't forget about Yinghuo, who hadn't arrived in Xian City. The detailed information about the growth location of the heart-burning poisonous flame marrow and other evolution materials was exchanged by Su Ran all at once. As for the cost Yinghuo would have to pay, accruing debt before joining the team had already become a tradition. Having visited all the relatives, I'll return home tomorrow and will update with a 4K word chapter then. Chapter 662, 328, Thunder starts. Just 2,000 more, will complete it soon. In the night, Starfare foster care shop in bright Radiant City. Though the street lamps were already lit, the business at the Starfare foster care shop remained bustling. The washing and protection service, maintained by the system clerk, had switched to 24-hour operations. Customers lined up outside the shop, forming a long queue that seemed to fend off the chill of the night with its fervent atmosphere. Inside the foster shop, the system store manager had just seen off a client and was about to call in the next one when suddenly, he sensed something and looked in a certain direction. Next, Sue Rand's figure appeared within the foster shop, accompanied by a flicker. Is business still good tonight? Sue Rand glanced at the long line outside, gave a slight nod to the system store manager, and then summoned the 4 little ones waiting for him. Under Fang Kanghai's special care, the resources Sue Rand exchanged were delivered almost as soon as he placed the order, allowing them not to wait long and to finish their business in Xi'an City within a day. Before long, 1 human and 4 pets returned to the living area inside the shop. On Sue Rand's empty bed, a tiny figure was curled up in the blankets, its head occasionally flickering with a flame that, upon contacting other things, did not ignite. It was the Firefly who hadn't formed a contract yet, and thus couldn't accompany Sue Rand to Xi'an City. Sue Rand and the 4 little ones exchanged glances, then a smile emerged on his face. He tiptoed to the Firefly's side, leaned close to its firelit ear and softly called out, "Firefly, wake up, Firefly." Purr Tilda. The Firefly made a low purring sound, its round ears twitched, and the flames on them grew more vigorous. It seemed to be sleeping sweetly, merely wriggled a bit under the blanket, and then fell asleep again. Seeing the Firefly's love of sleep, Xi'an became playful and carefully stretched out a paw to press it on the Firefly through the blanket. Immediately after, a flash of thunder flickered in the dark. Parhoo! The electric shock made the Firefly jump, its flame-colored fur puffing up in an instant as if its body had swelled. It woke up all at once, leaping up from the bed and looking around. Upon seeing Sue Rand and the 4 little ones, the Firefly blinked. Parhoo, am I dreaming? Hadn't everyone gone to another city? Peep Tilda, we finished early and came back Tilda. 12 flapped its wings, and then a mischievous glint appeared in its sea-blue eyes. Peep, why are you sleeping on the bed? The Firefly was silent for a moment before it suddenly covered its face with its bare paws, with the flames on its ears growing fiercer. How embarrassing! It was afraid of the dark when sleeping alone, so it had covered itself up tightly and squeezed onto the bed. It thought no one would find out, but to its surprise, everyone returned so quickly. It's okay to sleep on the bed. Sue Rand patted the Firefly's head with a smile, then paused for a moment before continuing. From now on, whenever we go somewhere else, there's no need to leave you behind. Hearing the implication in Sue Rand's words, the Firefly quickly put its paws down, surprise flickering in its red eyes. Parhoo, is there a contract spot available? Yes, I've just broken through to the 5th stage of contract power, laughed Sue Rand. We can form a contract now. As he spoke, he slowly extended a hand, on which a magnificent deep blue insignia of contract power hovered. It was the tangible manifestation of a contract spot. All that was needed was for the Firefly to touch this insignia to finalize their contract. Parhoo contract. The Firefly did not hesitate to reach out a bare paw and press it onto the insignia. The smooth formation of the contract allowed the Firefly to instantly understand Sue Rand's intentions. The need for communication between the two no longer required the assistance of 12. Speaking of which, now is the perfect time for you to form a contract, Sue Rand said with a smile. If all goes well, in a few days you should be able to catch the new round of resource distribution. Parhoo, resource distribution. The Firefly scratched its head with a paw, having no concept of what that entailed. Before officially forming a contract with Sue Rand, the 4 pets had kept this matter a secret from it. Now, however, the Firefly was entitled to share in the secret. Peep Tilda, resource distribution is. 12, having only participated in resource distribution once, couldn't wait to put on a senior's air and began educating the Firefly. As 12 explained, the Firefly's eyes grew brighter and brighter. So everyone had been engaging in such an interesting activity behind its back. At this resource distribution, Could they really obtain precious evolution materials that could increase one star level without evolving? Suddenly, the firefly thought of its own evolution path. No wonder when it saw that seemingly hopeless evolution path, no one took it too seriously. With Su Ran, the impossible could become possible. Seeing the firefly's look of eager anticipation, 12 timed its reveal of another surprise perfectly. Peep Tilda, this time in Xian City, we've prepared all your evolution materials. Parhu, really? The firefly's eyes shone even brighter. Evolution materials, all ready to go. For a moment, the firefly felt a bit embarrassed. It hadn't even accompanied everyone to that city called Xian City, yet they had already prepared its evolution materials. Such kind of favor. Parhu Tilda, I really can't thank you all enough. The firefly spoke with a sincere expression. Chapter 663, 328, Thunder starts. 12's gaze flashed mischievously, the look of a successful prank fleeting. Chirp Tilda, don't mention it, you still owe these debts. Finally, I can see what it looks like for the other little friends to be in debt. Firefly. Oh, debt. Boss Su, I really appreciate all the trouble you've gone through. Seeing her revitalized rosy flame demon fox, Chu Yue was surprised and delighted, but an embarrassed expression appeared on her face. I heard you haven't participated in the store's service for half a month, yet you made an exception for me. It's only right to give back to loyal customers, said Su Ran seriously. I may be heading to other cities soon, so while I'm still in Bright Radiant City, I want to take the time to give back to my loyal customers. Boss Su is going to other cities. Drawn by the content of Su Ran's words, Chu Yue couldn't help but show a look of regret. Are you not coming back? I might return but won't stay too long, Su Ran said with a smile. The Starfair Foster shop in Bright Radiant City is just a branch. Its operations have matured and no longer need my oversight. I plan to go to other cities to open new branches. I see. The look of regret on Chu Yue's face deepened. Well, even if Boss Su isn't here, I'll still come to this shop often. That would be an honor for Starfair Foster, Su Ran replied with a smile, then watched her leave. There was only 1 or 2 days left until Extinct Thunder attraction would emerge. Once he seized the Extinct Thunder attraction, there would be no reason to stay in Bright Radiant City any longer. Xian City, Monster Wooden City, Bright Radiant City. With just one more second-level town, he would be able to complete all the side tasks for Main Task 4. He was still looking forward to the rewards of Main Task 4. Advancing a system skill to A-level was so challenging, it must have something extraordinary about it. Chirp, can we start the next resource distribution now? 12, who usually hid in the shop observing every single customer, swiftly appeared and drew close to Su Ran, a look of anticipation on its face. It had seen Su Ran once again cleaning and caring for that Lucky Chu's pet beast. The last time Su Ran had done the same thing was the previous time. Almost with Extinct Thunder attraction not yet emerged, let's make one last overall enhancement. Su Ran nodded, smiling, and turned towards the living area. Chirp, yay. 12 quickly followed, calling out to the other little friends with contractual sensing while asking anxiously. Chirp, is there an Emperor species evolution path this time? Not this time, definitely next time. Chirp Tilda, all right Tilda. A moment later, all 5 little ones gathered together. On their 5 different faces, all wore expressions of anticipation. They watched intently as Su Ran wrote on a small blackboard, as if trying to predict something from the not yet completed board. Luhu Tilda, evolve, evolve. Firefly, participating in resource distribution for the first time, was noticeably excited. In the past 2 days, in order to obtain more resources during the distribution, it had seriously crammed some math. Now, it was able to perform 4-digit addition and subtraction with ease. It believed, with such math skills, it would be up to today's resource distribution. All right, all the resources are here, Su Ran said, setting down his chalk. The total value points added this time are 124,280, dividing evenly among the 5 of you. Each gets 24,856 value points. Firefly. Counting on its paws, it suddenly wore a look of utter despair. Oh no, it's a 5-digit number. Lucky Chu's performance remained stable as always. After a series of 10 bets, she brought 2 red items for Su Ran. One was an advanced meditation acceleration card, and the other was a 4-star skill scroll. Thus, only one item was available for resource distribution. The Emperor Species Evolution Path 12, anticipated, can only wait to see if there is a chance in the next resource distribution. Without much small talk or pretense, the 5 little ones quickly began exchanging and trading resources. The highest priority remained with Xian, not only because it had only one skill left that wasn't raised to 4 stars, getting close to all skills reaching the violent sun level, but also because extinct thunder attraction could emerge at any time. Its enhancement was crucial in contesting for the extinct thunder attraction. Dropping 47 skill fusion stones at once, the panel of Xian slowly dimmed, and the first talent skill that was upgraded to 3 stars disappeared, replaced by a brand new skill. Thunder Shake Heavenly Sound, Violent Sun Level. Thunder Shocker, Violent Sun Level. This new skill, its name is somewhat similar to Extinct Thunder Attraction. Su Ran nodded with satisfaction. It's a good sign. What's the effect of the skill? However, faced with Su Ran's question, Xian's expression turned somewhat vacant. It took a good while before it slowly came back to its senses. Meow tilde, this skill, it's kind of like the Extinct Thunder Attraction. Su Ran blinked. Extinct Thunder Attraction is a resource. How can your skill be very similar to it? Meow tilde, this skill's effect, also generates thunder from the void. Xian quickly explained itself. Thunder Shocker inherited the original properties of Thunder Shake Heavenly Sound, but gained significant improvements and enhancements. It no longer required sound as a medium. With just a thought from Xian, it could conceal thunder force in a vast surrounding area and trigger it when needed, creating powerful thunder strike damage without any warning. Chapter 664, 328, Thunder Starts. As Xian had described, the process was very similar to the display of Extinct Thunder Attraction, with the only difference being that the triggered thunder strike effect was not as terrifying as that of Extinct Thunder Attraction. Is that so? After listening to Xian's description, Su Ran stroked his chin, showing a thoughtful expression. A moment later, his eyes grew brighter. It seems that this skill is indeed a good omen. Su Ran's smile thickened on his face. I have a bold idea, and if it can be realized, our chances of securing the Extinct Thunder Attraction will increase by quite a bit. Meow, what idea? Xian asked curiously. We'll talk about that later, Su Ran said with a mysterious smile. Let's continue with the resource allocation. Now all your skills have been upgraded to 4 stars, and the post-upgrade skills also meet the evolution conditions. The only thing left is skill proficiency. Meow tilde, exchange for skill points. Xian said without hesitation. Its main material for evolution is now only the Extinct Thunder Attraction, and in other areas, there is no room for improvement for the moment. The only thing it can do now is to upgrade the remaining 3 talent skills to Violent Sun level. In doing so, by meeting the full skill requirement of 4 stars and all skills at Violent Sun level, it would reach a truly invincible state at the general stage. Good, Su Ran nodded and quickly started allocating points. Xian had not been idle in the past half-month. Its skill proficiency had been rapidly increasing. Therefore, after spending over 10,000 skill points, it reached its goal of having all skills at Violent Sun level. Meow, I have finished. Feeling the surge of immense power within its body, Xian declared the end of its exchange with satisfaction. The next time resources were allocated, its evolution would likely be complete without any surprise, and its priority for exchange would disappear. It was time to give the opportunity to other teammates. Xilu tilde, is it my turn? Star cried out in excitement. Its gaze immediately fell upon the words, 4-star skill scrolls on Little Black's board. Xian had its own plan for its last skill, so it did not use this item. Thus, the best user for this item was naturally Star. And Star indeed had a use for the 4-star skill scroll. Xilu tilde, use the 4-star skill scroll on the night rune. Star said without hesitation. In choosing this skill, it had its own considerations as well. Firstly, Star had not yet found any skills suitable to merge with this one, so directly using a 4-star skill scroll to upgrade would not be a waste. Secondly, and most importantly, the battle for the Extinct Thunder Attraction could come at any time, and it would certainly be brutal. By upgrading this skill to 4 stars, it would help the team even better. Meow tilde, thank you. Xian looked deeply at Star, instantly understanding its intent. Su Ran, who also understood Star's intention, smiled slightly and used the 4-star skill scroll. Dazzling red light accompanied the disappearance of the Night Rune on Star's panel, and in its place, a whole new skill appeared. Night Rune, Violent Sun level. Star God Blessing, Violent Sun level. Su Ran's face showed a few hints of surprise as he looked at the new skill. Is there a surprise? Besides needing all talent skills upgraded to 4 stars, Star's evolution conditions required at least 3 post-upgrade skills to be linked with star power. After discussions between Su Ran and Star, they concluded that, although the evolution conditions required 3, having more skills connected with star power could be helpful for the final evolution. The Night Rune was a pure dark skill, and it was not related to star power in itself. Su Ran thought that directly using the 4-star skill scroll to upgrade the skill would result in a new 4-star skill that would not be associated with star power. But to his surprise, there was such a delightful twist. What's the effect of this new skill? Su Ran couldn't help but ask aloud as he watched Star recover from its daze. Star didn't answer. Or rather, it gave an answer with its actions. In an instant, dazzling starlight appeared beneath the feet of Su Ran and the other 4 pets, weaving mysterious patterns in the void and transforming into an unbreakable protective force. The aura of the man and his 4 pets began to climb with each breath. The original Night Rune already provided a significant boost in strength, but now the Star God Blessing's increase was even more terrifying. Even Can, who had reached the king stage, felt his power had almost doubled under the boost of Star God Blessing. However, a powerful skill was bound to have equally significant consumption. After casting it for a short while, Star had to dissipate the power of Star God Blessing. Its aura had become noticeably weaker than before, a rare sight for Star which was almost endlessly energetic. After quickly casting Prayer of Starry Night, Star soon replenished its consumed power, but its face still showed a trace of lingering fear. It seems that although this skill is strong, we can't fully deploy it for the time being. Su Ran nodded slightly, understanding the situation. This might also be related to Can. Using a general level to boost a king stage surely requires significant energy. Star, try excluding Can and boosting the rest of us. Chapter 665, 328, Thunder starts. Xilu Tilda, let me give it a try. Xian nodded and cast the spell again. This time, all companions except Can were enhanced, and Xian's consumption clearly slowed down, with its own recovery rate now sufficient to make up for it. Cha Tilda, it seems I temporarily can't be enhanced. Seeing this, Can immediately became disheartened. It's okay, you're already very strong on your own. Su Ran gently patted Can's head and spoke with a smile, and you have your own skill that amplifies your strength. This time's resource allocation allows us to upgrade Jizumitsu to 4 stars. Cha Tilda, oh right. Can's eyes lit up, and a look of eagerness appeared on its face. In this resource allocation, Xian completed all its enhancements, and thus gained the chance to exchange for skill fusion stone. New skills, let's go. However, when facing Su Ran's inquiry, Xian's expression appeared somewhat blank. After a while, it slowly came back to its senses. Meow Tilda, this skill, it's similar to Extinct Thunder Attraction. Su Ran blinked. Extinct Thunder Attraction is a resource. How can your skill look like it? Meow Tilda, the effect of this skill is also to create thunder out of the void. Xian quickly explained. Thunder Shocker inherited the characteristics of the original Thunder Shake Heavenly Sound, with significant enhancements and improvements. It no longer required sound as the medium. With just a thought from Xian, it could hide Thunder Force within a massive range and trigger it when necessary, creating powerful thunder strike damage without any warning. As Xian said, this process was very similar to the external performance of Extinct Thunder Attraction, the only difference probably being that the triggered thunder strike effect wasn't as terrifying as that of Extinct Thunder Attraction. Is that so? After hearing Xian's description, Su Ran stroked his chin, a thoughtful expression appearing on his face. A moment later, his eyes grew brighter. It seems this skill is indeed a good omen. Su Ran's face filled with a thick smile. I have a bold idea. If it can be realized, our chances of fighting for Extinct Thunder Attraction will increase considerably. Meow, what's the idea? Xian asked curiously. We'll talk about it later, Su Ran said with a mysterious smile. Let's continue with resource allocation. Now that all your skills have been upgraded to 4 stars, and the stars' upgraded skills also meet the evolution conditions, the only thing left is skill proficiency. Meow tilde, exchange for skill points. Xian spoke without hesitation. Its main material for evolution was only the extinct thunder attraction left, with no room for improvement elsewhere for the time being. What it could do now was upgrade the remaining 3 talent skills to the violent sun level. By doing so, with all skills at 4 stars and all skills at the violent sun level, it would reach the truly invincible state of the general stage. Okay, Su Ran nodded and quickly started allocating points. Xian had been busy in the past half-month as well, with its skill proficiency continuously rising rapidly, so after consuming over 10,000 skill points, it achieved the goal of having all skills at the violent sun level. Meow, I'm finished. Feeling the powerful force surging within it, Xian declared the end of its exchange with satisfaction. By the next resource allocation, if nothing went wrong, its evolution would have been completed, and its priority for exchange would also disappear. It was time to give other companions a chance. Xilu tilde, is it my turn now? Xian let out an excited screech. Its gaze instantly fell on the words, 4-star skill scrolls on Little Black's board. Xian had its own plan for its last skill, so it didn't use that item. Thus, the best user for this item naturally became itself. And it just happened to have an application for the 4-star skill scrolls. Xilu tilde, use the 4-star skill scrolls on the night rune. Star didn't hesitate to speak up. Choosing this skill, it had its own considerations. First, Star hadn't found any suitable skills to fuse with this one yet, so upgrading directly with a 4-star skill scroll wasn't a waste. Furthermore, and most importantly, the competition for the extinct thunder attraction, which could come at any time, was bound to be brutal. And by upgrading this skill to 4 stars, it could offer better assistance to everyone. Meow tilde, thank you. Xian took a deep look at Star and instantly understood the other's intention. Su Ran also understood Star's intention and with a slight smile, used the 4-star skill scroll. Dazzling red light, accompanied by the night rune, dissipated on Star's panel, replaced by a brand new skill. Night rune, violent sun level. Star God blessing, violent sun level. Looking at the new skill, surprise painted Su Ran's face. Is there a surprise? Star's evolution conditions, in addition to all talent skills being upgraded to 4 stars, also required at least 3 upgraded skills to be linked with star power. After a discussion between Su Ran and Star, they concluded that, although the evolution conditions required 3, having more skills linked with star power might help with the ultimate evolution. Night Rune was purely a dark skill and had nothing to do with star power. Su Ran had thought that using a 4-star skill scroll to upgrade would not result in the new 4-star skill being linked with star power. Unexpectedly, there was such a pleasant surprise. How does this new skill perform? Su Ran couldn't help but ask as he watched Star regain its senses from the daze. Star didn't answer. Or rather, it responded with its actions. In an instant, dazzling starlight appeared under the feet of Su Ran and the other 4 pets, intertwining in the void into mysterious patterns, forming an indestructible protective force. The aura of each individual and pet climbed steadily with every breath they took. The original Night Rune had already greatly boosted their strength, but the Star God blessing was now even more terrifyingly potent. Even Can, who had reached the king stage, felt like her power had almost doubled under the amplification of Star God blessing. But a powerful skill inevitably came with equally significant consumption. After displaying the skill for a short while, Star had to dissipate the power of Star God blessing. Its aura was notably more wilted than before, a rare condition for a creature that normally seemed to have boundless stamina. Quickly casting Night Prayer, Star soon replenished the consumed power, but a lingering trepidation remained on its face. It seems that, although this skill is strong, we cannot fully deploy it for now. Su Ran nodded slightly, understanding. It might be related to Can too. Amplifying a general level to boost a king stage is naturally a great drain. Star, try bypassing Can and amplify the rest of us. Xilu tilde, I'll give it a try. Star nodded and used the skill again. This time, all the other pets except Can benefited from the boost, and Star's consumption slowed noticeably, its own recovery rate now sufficient to compensate. Cha tilde, it seems I can't be boosted for now. Can immediately became disheartened upon seeing this. It's okay, you're already very strong. Su Ran gently stroked Can's head and smiled. Plus, You have your own power-boosting skills, and this time we can upgrade Jizumitsu to 4 stars. Chatilda, right. Kankan's eyes lit up, eager to try. With this resource allocation, Xian completed all its upgrades and had the chance to exchange for a skill fusion stone. New skills charge forward. Chapter 666, 329. Thunder stirs in all directions. Suran makes a move. Chapter 667, 329. Thunder roars in all directions. Suran takes action. It seems it's not my turn to act. Luhutilda, is Purple Cloud about to make her move? The slightly excited voice of Firefly echoed in the minds of the person, and 4 pet beasts present. It, being too weak to follow and currently using contractual sensing to share senses, was watching the entire scene from the foster shop. As it saw both sides poised to clash, its mood also became excited. This was a confrontation at the Beast King level. How many elite stage pet beasts could experience this so vividly? Jutilda, looks like the fight might not happen after all. 12 had a feeling and looked towards the direction of Fallen Thunder Valley before speaking softly. Almost at the next moment after 12 made a sound, a huge and persistent thunderous sound echoed throughout Fallen Thunder Valley, and countless dark purple thunderbolts fell from the sky, like heaven's sword stabbing into the valley. Against the surging lightning, a dazzling light slowly rose into the air, even visible from outside the valley with utmost clarity. That was a mystical rune without a physical form, entirely woven from energy, indescribable in words, like a fragmented imprint of the natural laws, exhibiting extreme colors and brilliance. Countless bolts of lightning struck at it but became its nourishment, greedily absorbed by it without any hesitation. The scene fell into dead silence, except for the terrifying sound of thunder, leaving only the countless greedy and heavy breaths. This is mine. The flame lion beast king let out a mad roar, turning into a crimson afterimage, rapidly sprinting towards the direction of Fallen Thunder Valley. The white bone beast king gave Suran a deep look, and then turned to follow the flame lion beast king. The moment it got close, it sensed a hint of danger through its innate fighting attribute instincts. Though it did not know why this mere general-level human beast master seemed to pose such a threat, it was not interested in wasting time on such trivial matters now that the resource had emerged. Consider that human lucky. Each of the beast kings who had already cleared the area didn't dare to fall behind, fearing being a step too late in acquiring the resources, and chose to enter the valley without any hesitation. And Suran, who had long awaited this day, did not pause for a moment. Find a chance to kill that guy after entering the valley. He lightly patted Xian's head, casually deciding the fate of the white bone beast king, then hopped onto the broad back of Star. Let's go. Xylulu Tilda. Star let out a long whinny, bursting forth with such speed that even the king stage had to take notice. Quickly turning into a shadow unseen in the dark night, it approached Fallen Thunder Valley at a terrifying velocity. As silhouettes each utilized their abilities to approach Fallen Thunder Valley, the thunder-patterned gold willow inside the valley also made its move. Branches adorned with purple patterns and glowing with a shiny gold color, like divine whips splitting the thunder, thrust directly towards the extinct thunder attraction in midair, and even when struck by thunder containing destructive power, these branches merely dimmed slightly. What was even more shocking was that the suspended extinct thunder attraction, upon sensing the presence of the thunder-patterned gold willow, actually began to move towards it slowly and voluntarily. Clearly, having guarded the emergence of the extinct thunder attraction for countless years, the thunder-patterned gold willow had not been idle. On the contrary, it had made a lot of preparations. Stop it! Cold red glimmers emerged in the hollow eyes of the white bone beast king, and it quickly pulled another giant bone knife from its back, fixing the handles together to instantly form a boomerang shrouded with a terrifying aura. With a casual flick, the boomerang formed of bone knives left a chilling white afterimage in the air, bringing a shrill howl as it slashed fiercely towards the branches of the thunder-patterned gold willow in the void. The flame lion beast king's tricks were equally remarkable. Its tail, which was like a whip, swiftly extended, its tip enveloped in flames to form the head of a giant serpent. Accompanied by a piercing shriek, it quickly lunged at the branches. The other beast kings also employed their tactics, not wanting to let the thunder-patterned gold willow succeed, as a torrent of wind blades, thunder spears, and rock thorns bombarded it all at once. Boom! Accompanied by consecutive booming sounds, Thick smoke quickly enveloped the firmament, then torn apart by constant lightning, revealing the scene covered by the smoke. The extinct thunder attraction was still flowing with dazzling light, completely unaffected by the aftermath of the previous assault, and instead, its aura seemed even stronger. On the contrary, the thunder-patterned gold willow, after suffering attacks from so many beast kings at once, instantly became tragic. A great number of branches were slashed or burned off, with droplets of purple-gold liquid spurting from its severed limbs. The luster of the thunder-patterned gold willow's shiny gold body notably dimmed, and after a brief silence, an angry roar echoed throughout Fallen Thunder Valley. You all are courting death. At this time, each beast king that had struck, including Suran who had mingled among them, stood at different positions above Fallen Thunder Valley. Above their heads was the suspended extinct thunder attraction, and beneath their feet in the deep valley surged the limitless killing intent of the thunder-patterned gold willow. Golden Willow Beast King, a mantis-like earth attribute Beast King spoke unhurriedly. Resource goes to those with the ability. There's no rule that says one can monopolize it. As it spoke, its forelimbs, glistening with cold light, rapidly swung twice in the air, causing even the void to ripple slightly. With that action, it effortlessly severed several branches of the thunder-patterned gold willow. Chapter 668, 329 Thunder roars in all directions. Suran takes action. Sword Mantis Beast King, how shameless of you. The countless branches of the thunder-patterned gold willow trembled, like a divine whip poised to strike, pointed at all the beings present. This extinct thunder attraction is nurtured by my own power. What right do you have to covet it? I'm not afraid to tell you either. Enveloped in powerful thunder force, a face formed from thunderbolt appeared in the void, glaring at the creatures below with a chilling gaze. This thunder-patterned gold willow has been imbued with my prohibitions. You cannot use it. Not only that, but you also cannot leave. As the thunder-patterned gold willow let out its final roar, those radiant golden branches that had been ready to unleash their fury shot out, indiscriminately attacking all the creatures present. In its rage, it had already developed an overwhelming desire to kill. Do you think you have the power to do so? The flame lion beast king roared angrily, laced with disdain, as it watched the branches growing rapidly larger in its field of vision. Without hesitation, it lashed its serpentine tail of fire and leapt toward the thunder-patterned gold willow with claws ablaze and towering the fire. But in the next instant, its expression underwent a drastic change. The extinct thunder attraction in the air flickered at that moment. Suddenly, a bolt of purple-black thunderbolt, which was supposed to strike it, unexpectedly veered toward one of the branches of the thunder-patterned gold willow and merged into it. The golden branches of the thunder-patterned gold willow, which had been flowing with purple thunder patterns, instantly turned a dangerous shade of purple-black. Before the flame lion beast king could dodge, the branch struck it fiercely. Accompanied by an extraordinarily agonizing scream, half of the flame lion beast king's body turned to ash under the gaze of all. The remaining half of its body crashed heavily to the ground, its eyes already devoid of life. A beast king had perished just like that, which made the other beast kings look at those now purple-black branches with an extremely grave expression in their eyes. At that moment, an indifferent voice rang out. Xian, divine punishment. Time seemed to still in that moment, and in the next instant, a dreadfully dangerous aura burst forth from Xian, who stood beside Suran. That power tore through the thunder brewing in the sky, outmuscling the branches of the thunder-patterned gold willow, and even the light that flowed on the extinct thunder attraction seemed to stagnate for an instant. The air froze at that moment, and as the surroundings became enshrouded in blackness, Xian took a step forward, spreading a fierce intent to kill throughout the area instantly. 4-star skill, Violent Sun level, Divine Punishment. This skill, with its terrifying side effects but unmatched dominance, was once again invoked by Xian. Even for Xian, it was only the second time truly displaying this skill. The last time it was shown, the skill's mastery was barely at full moon level. The gap between full moon level and Violent Sun level is like night and day. The terror unleashed by divine punishment this time was far beyond any previous comparison. And this was just the beginning. A dark energy surged in all directions, swiftly extending its overwhelming presence to envelop the entire Fallen Thunder Valley, covering all the creatures within and the extinct thunder attraction in the void. The next moment, a terrifying suppression descended. Apart from those of thunder and fighting attributes, other creatures felt the elements related to them rapidly being stripped from the air in an almost suffocating pain. Even creatures of the thunder and fighting attributes weren't totally immune, the ensuing indiscriminate oppression making them feel as if their bodies had suddenly become extremely heavy. The lightning in the sky slowed, and the light of the extinct thunder attraction dimmed slightly. The wildly dancing branches of the thunder-patterned gold willow seemed to be caught in a muddy quagmire, and the white-bone beast king also clutched its double swords, gazing in shock at this being it had once deemed beneath its notice. 4-star skill, violent sun level, heavenly punishment. This new skill, derived from King's power of the King stage common skills, now possessed a terror that held real sway even over beings at the King stage. It was no longer a trifling matter, but had become, in a sense, a crucial balance in the battle for victory. After unleashing 2 4-star skills in succession, Xian's indifferent, domineering black eyes finally turned towards the thunder-patterned gold willow below in the valley. The next moment, with a thunderous sound that echoed for a long time, shaking the valley, Xian's figure instantly appeared before the thunder-patterned gold willow. Behind it, a path formed by black lightning converged, filled with terrifying killing intent. In front of it, the thunder-patterned gold willow, with a face still showing shock and astonishment, suddenly faced the formidable Xian. Xian slowly lifted its paw, and then, with an irresistible force, pressed it against the thunder-patterned gold willow. The surging black thunderbolt coalesced into a massive, Chinese-letter character in the void, countless electric arcs intertwined instantly, forming myriad winding and mysterious symbols upon the body of the thunder-patterned gold willow. In that moment, the thunder-patterned gold willow's flailing branches came to an abrupt halt, as if the stop button had been pressed. The absorbed purple-black electricity, faced with the spreading black electric arcs, seemed to encounter a terrifying entity, and hurriedly left the body of the thunder-patterned gold willow, reconverging around the extinct thunder attraction. The branches of the thunder-patterned gold willow returned to their radiant gold color, the flowing purple thunder patterns rapidly darkened, and then the golden branches swiftly faded. Its large and vital body began to exude an increasingly intense scent of death. Chapter 669, 329 Thunder roars in all directions. Su Ran takes action. Its massive body, vibrant with life, began to exude an increasingly intense odor of death. As power involuntarily spilled into the air, the thunder-patterned gold willow's life finally reached its end. The thunder-patterned gold willow deceased. In the hollow eye sockets of the white-bone beast king, the pale luminescence trembled violently at that moment. Xian's recent strike filled it with an intense sense of life-and-death crisis. And not long before, it had already developed considerable enmity with that human whom it had once viewed as no more than an ant. With that thought, the white-bone beast king suddenly sensed a wave of killing intent enveloping it. Xian, whose power of divine punishment had not yet completely dissipated, turned its head, and those pitch-black, indifferent eyes were already fixed upon the beast. Run! Run quickly! The white-bone beast king's mind roared frantically with its own screams, as its innate fighting attribute battle instinct came into full play at that moment, instantly realizing how formidable the opponent before it was. But now it was far too late to run. Because a black thunderbolt, harboring boundless power of terror, was born from the void, quickly approaching Xian. When that black thunderbolt brushed past the extinct thunder attraction, the dazzling light of the extinct thunder attraction trembled at that moment, revealing an almost humanized emotion, allowing all beings present to sense its thoughts. The extinct thunder attraction was afraid. Even a resource strong enough to surpass the Overlord stage, having reached the Emperor stage, feared that abrupt appearance of the thunderbolt. The thunderbolt that stunned the whole scene eventually landed in Xian's hand, flowing between its fully blackened claws like a docile lamb, and eventually turned into a slender thunder spear. The thunder spear left Xian's grasp, flying toward the white-bone beast king. Before it could struggle or resist, the dark thunder spear, surging with terrifying power, instantly pierced through the white-bone beast king. 4-star skill, violent sun level, astonishing thunder fury. In the empty eye sockets of the white-bone beast king, the light instantaneously dissipated. Its body, composed of white bones, crumbled into pieces, ultimately piling into a small mound of bones, never to animate again. The white-bone beast king deceased. After slaying 2 beast kings in succession, Xion's figure flickered with peals of thunderous sound. By the time it returned to Su-Ran's side, no more black power surged on its body, the force of divine punishment finally subsiding. As for the side effects of divine punishment, it naturally wouldn't choose to endure them in such a crucial moment. In Xion's claw were a piece of jade-like white bone and a small segment of solid golden resin, king stage resources left behind by the fall of the two beast kings. They would become auxiliary materials for Xion's evolution, forming the foundation for Xion to step into the Emperor species. After carefully storing the two resources, Xion's gaze firmly locked onto the extinct thunder attraction in the sky. This resource was in the final moments of its emergence and couldn't be taken away just yet. Taking it would mean that its own evolution was just one step away. As divine punishment dissipated, the pressure from heavenly punishment faded too, and the beast kings around began to feel their connection to the elemental power that was native to them. But the horror of Xion instantly killing two powerful beast kings still imprinted firmly in their minds. One of the beast kings roared as it retreated, already discarding any thoughts of fighting for the extinct thunder attraction. Its action broke the stagnant atmosphere, prompting more beast kings to harbor thoughts of retreat. In the end, only a few beings still stood in place, gazing at the extinct thunder attraction in the sky while watching each other with wary eyes. Chirp Tilda, that guy hasn't arrived yet. Can carefully observed the various figures around before speaking in a subdued voice. It's probably unsure whether Xion can use divine punishment again, Su-Ran said softly, a sharp glint flashing in his eyes. It's waiting. We are waiting too. Chapter 670-330, Thunder Dragon vs. Can, the true mastermind behind the scenes. Is it you? Staring at the colossal beast before him with a body length of 30 meters, resembling more of an eastern dragon, draped in flowing electric light across its bright purple scales, and with a mane wildly dancing behind it, Su-Ran's brow furrowed immediately. Because he recognized the creature's identity. In the adventure map exchanged at the Bright Radiant City Beast Master Association, there was a detailed description of the beast before him. The Thunder Beast King, the profound Azure Thunder Dragon. It dwelled all year round in a distant Thunder series environment from the fallen Thunder Valley, and due to its formidable strength, it was listed as one of the most dangerous transcendent beings on the adventure map. Compared with the Beast Kings who had come one after another just now, its strength was on a whole different level, even surpassing the once mighty Lava Beast King. But, in Su-Ran's heart, a trace of confusion arose. During his prolonged exploration in the past, he had confirmed that there were beings coveting the extinct thunder attraction, not just the obvious ones, but also those lurking in the shadows, hoping to reap the benefits without any effort. However, Su-Ran's suspected culprit was not the one before him. The creature's abilities did not match those of the one pulling the strings from behind the scenes. Gazing at Can, who roared excitedly, thinking it finally found the mastermind, and who transformed in an instant, swelling its pint-sized body into an immensely huge form and charging toward the profound Azure Thunder Dragon opposite, Su-Ran gently patted Star next to him. Star, who was prepared to join the fray, paused in its actions and suddenly adopted the stance of an onlooker. The reinforcements from the rear failed to grasp Can's attention. Or rather, it had become so engulfed in the battle spirit that it forgot the fact it had teammates. With its strength escalating rapidly, Can's figure swelled furiously with the wind. 10 meters, 100 meters, 500 meters, 1,000 meters. A colossal 1,000 meters in length, it was like a small mountain peak descending from the sky, emanating an unmatched oppressive force amidst the thunderous light. And this was merely Can's original body type. Having reached the king stage, its original size had already broken past the kilometer mark. Such a terrifying size would cause a great many jaws to drop merely upon hearing of it. The profound Azure Thunder Dragon, too, underwent a change in expression at the very first instance. It had not just arrived. As a great complement Beast King, the profound Azure Thunder Dragon was the strongest Thunder Series spirit in the nearby region, possessing special abilities beyond the reach of ordinary thunder attribute extraordinary creatures, namely, the ability to fully elementalize its body and hide within the thunder and lightning. Long ago, the profound Azure Thunder Dragon had discovered the hidden special resource here, and judging from the information it had and the various signs on the ground, It concluded that this resource was the incredibly precious extinct thunder attraction for beings of the thunder attribute. Since then, it often transformed into electric light, hiding in the thunder clouds, coming here to investigate. With its unique abilities, not even the thunder pattern gold willow had any inkling of this. Now, as the time for the extinct thunder attraction to emerge approached, the ever-watchful profound azure thunder dragon naturally hadn't been tardy, lurking in the lightning in the sky all along. The countless bolts brought forth by the emergence of the extinct thunder attraction provided the best cover for it. Initially, the profound azure thunder dragon intended to strike the instant the extinct thunder attraction could be moved. With its power, it didn't take any of the extraordinary creatures present seriously, nor did it have any reason to hesitate. However, before the extinct thunder attraction could fully emerge, Xian took action. The thunder that could even be fatal to it made the profound azure thunder dragon feel wary for the first time. Even though Xian was in an awkward situation when facing the encirclement by the beast kings and didn't release divine punishment again, the cautious nature of the profound azure thunder dragon still stopped it from striking immediately. Only after completely confirming that Xian couldn't release divine punishment again did the profound azure thunder dragon finally give in to impatience. It made its move. It quickly realized, however, that it had seemingly overlooked something very important in its usual caution: the other pet beasts of that human beast master. The profound azure thunder dragon stared intently at the immense presence before it, rare solemnity swirling in its gaze. Although the creature before it had a considerable gap in power, far from reaching the complete king stage, that extraordinary size was proof enough of its uniqueness. What was more significant was that it was an earth attribute king stage pet beast. The surging earth attribute power that filled the nearby void made the profound azure thunder dragon feel its own thunder force beginning to experience a trace of resistance. The spaces that would have been easily pierced before now had become strenuous to breach due to the density of the earth attribute power. The conductivity of the thunderbolt had decreased, directly affecting its ability to unleash its full strength. Buzz tilde. At this moment, the extinct thunder attraction that the profound azure thunder dragon had seized trembled slightly. Sensing the immense power within it, the creature's originally solemn eyes quickly sharpened. What did attribute suppression matter, or the strangeness of the opponent? The resource it had eyed for so long, it was determined to take away today. Nobody could stop it. Roar! Alongside a fierce roar, the body of the profound azure thunder dragon clad in bright purple dragon scales became dazzlingly brilliant. Its massive form swelled instantly with thunderbolt, and countless electric arc blasts surged out to stab into the surrounding void. As if driven by the profound azure thunder dragon's thunder force, the extinct thunder attraction also began to flicker. Bolts of lightning appeared out of nowhere around it, and then were forcefully absorbed by the profound azure thunder dragon, becoming a part of itself. Chapter 671, 330, Thunder Dragon vs. Cancan, the true mastermind behind the scenes. Its body, now fully elemental, was growing rapidly in size due to the convergence of increasing amounts of power, breaking free from the constraints of its original body type. 30 meters, 50 meters, 100 meters. 3-star skill, violent sun-level myriad thunder body. The mysterious azure thunder dragon, now transformed into a 100-meter-long dragon, although still much smaller in body size compared to Cancan, was no longer oppressed by Cancan and had grown significantly more formidable in presence, beginning to demonstrate the strength of a full-fledged beast king. It let out another fierce roar and then, without hesitation, lunged at Cancan, its sharp claws swiftly sweeping through the void, casting claw shadows like a tempestuous storm, sealing off all of Cancan's room to evade. 3-star skill, violent sun-level space break thunder claw. In fact, Cancan didn't have much room to dodge either. Its massive body size, 10 times that of its opponent, could easily hit the target without precise aiming. Cancan, realizing this, abandoned any thought of dodging. Watching the oncoming claw shadows that were swiftly enlarging in its field of vision, Cancan let out a roaring cry to the sky, with an earthy golden halo quickly engulfing its body, and its figure visibly soared once again in size. 2,000 meters, 5,000 meters, 10,000 meters. 3-star skill, halo-level echoing of earth vein. 4-star skill, violent sun-level heaven-earth law. In just a moment, Can-Can's enormous body almost filled the entire fallen Thunder Valley. Although it was inevitable that it collided with those pervasive claw shadows, supported by its ever-increasing power and tough defense, Can-Can bore the attacks, leaving only shallow marks on the scales of its back. Can-Can's immense head lowered, and its glittering golden dragon eyes peered forward, black cracks spreading and twisting as it gazed indifferently down at the mysterious azure thunder dragon like a deity, letting out a roar that reverberated throughout fallen Thunder Valley. Cha! Light patterns of the dragon turtle flickered in and out of existence in the void, rapidly covering the area. A domain of inescapable suppression descended thunderously. A terrifying sense of oppression instantly enveloped the mysterious azure thunder dragon, whose huge body, due to elemental transformation, began to shrink slightly under the external suppressive force. 3-star skill, Halo-level dragon turtle's power. Roar, you think a Halo-level skill can stop me? The mysterious azure thunder dragon's eyes, filled with thunder, showed vicious intent as it felt the suppression around it and the intense threat of life and death, but it did not show the slightest fear. Clutching tightly to the extinct thunder attraction, the mysterious azure thunder dragon seemed to have unearthed some methods to use from the brief moment of prior utilization, and now actively channeled its thunder force into it. The next moment, countless violet-black thunderbolts fell from the void unexpectedly, targeting the extinct thunder attraction in the mysterious azure thunder dragon's grasp. But as Can-Can was too massive and too close, it instantly became a victim of the dispersion. Nearly half of the violet-black thunder crashed upon Can-Can's body, and despite its strong defense, could not help but let out anguished roars. The recently established dragon turtle's power in the sky also became unstable at this moment, due to the backlash of the violet-black thunder and Can-Can's distraction, releasing the mysterious azure thunder dragon from any restraints. The quick-reacting mysterious azure thunder dragon did not miss such a prime opportunity. Its slender body twisted instantaneously, turning into a large thunderbolt spear at an incredible speed, and with a furious howl, it thrust directly at Can-Can's tightly shut eyes. The sharp thunderous roar echoed through fallen Thunder Valley in an instant, and within the thunder spear, the radiance of the extinct thunder attraction shimmered. Numerous thunders converged and were frantically absorbed by the spear, strengthening it. 3-star skill, Violent Sun-level Thunderbolt Dragon Spear. Watching Can-Can's enormous head drawing closer, a fierce killing intent surfaced in the mysterious azure thunder dragon's eyes. It was the first time it had fought such a massive opponent. But a large body naturally had the disadvantages of being large. It meant less agility in dodging, and weak spots were more apparent. As a dragon pet beast itself, the mysterious azure thunder dragon knew well the seemingly impregnable giant in front of it had a vulnerability. The eyes. This area, not covered by dragon scales, was one of the weaknesses of dragon creatures. And because of the significant difference in body size, the mysterious azure thunder dragon spear was like a sharp needle in front of Can-Can. That size just allowed the mysterious azure thunder dragon to pierce through Can-Can's delicate eyelids without hindrance and penetrate into Can-Can's pupils. It could already imagine thrusting through the pupil and entering the brain of this massive being, killing it instantly. Slaying such a giant could surely make one proud, right? The mysterious azure thunder dragon thought to itself. Watching the increasingly close eyes of Can-Can, the killing intent in the mysterious azure thunder dragon's heart grew thicker. However, in the next moment, its vision was overtaken by flowing golden light. Within that glowing gold, numerous black lines of varying thickness appeared like patterns, or maybe intricate runes, undergoing unfathomably complex changes at every moment, their mystery dizzying and confounding. Those were Can-Can's opening eyes. As those eyes opened anew, space and time around seemed to momentarily stagnate. An absolutely terrifying force of suppression arrived instantaneously, far surpassing the dragon turtle's power previously used by Can-Can, and almost instantly, it brought the mysterious azure thunder dragon's swiftly striking thunder spear to a halt in the void. Chapter 672, 330 Thunder Dragon vs. Can-Can, the True Mastermind. Gazing at the resplendent golden eyes that were close at hand, yet untouchable, a heavy sense of dread suddenly weighed down on the profound thunder dragon's heart. The next moment, a series of deep rumbling sounds abruptly emanated from the void around them. Boom, 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 boom. As the deep rumbling noises continued unceasingly, the The mysterious azure thunder dragon discovered in horror that everything around it was collapsing at an alarming rate. It suddenly felt an intense pain, signaling the shattering of its elemental body, bit by bit. A great deal of thunder force spilled from the breaches in the profound thunder dragon's body, causing it to shrink smaller and smaller, until it could no longer sustain its elemental state and reverted back to its fleshy form. Its body was covered in dripping dragon blood, as it despairingly watched the terrifying power that seemed to completely crush it, leaving it engulfed in darkness the next moment. Under Cancan's forceful grasp, the space binding the mysterious azure thunder dragon turned to dust in an instant, leaving behind only the twinkling extinct thunder attraction and an unvanished bright purple dragon scale hanging in the air. 4-star skill, violent sun-level land of destruction. Profound thunder dragon perished. After delivering that final blow, Cancan's massive body quickly receded in size, returning to its original kilometer-long body type. Its face bore traces of weariness, mixed with a sense of longing for more. In the battle just now, for the first time, it had fully unleashed the power of the Heaven-Earth Law, which was different from the previous Jizumitsu. Cancan could choose which attribute to strengthen while weakening another. It chose to diminish its own recovery. This was also why it was able to keep up with the mysterious Azure Thunder Dragon during their fight. But the decrease in recovery also meant that what would have been a stamina for prolonged combat was now less than even Zeon's. Just a single burst of exertion had left it feeling drained, a sensation it had not experienced in a long time. Fortunately, such a sacrifice was worthwhile. When unleashing the full might of the Heaven-Earth Law combined with the echoing of Earth Vein, Cancan's power had soared terrifyingly close to the Overlord stage. Coupled with the violent sun-level 4-star skill land of destruction, it obliterated the mysterious Azure Thunder Dragon in an instant. Bear in mind, this was a Beast King at the peak of great compliment. The last one to achieve a one-shot kill had been the Nightmare Beast King. This meant that Cancan's current strength was by no means inferior to its adversary. The battle was over, and instinctively, a dull yellow glow surrounded Cancan as it, with its recovery restored, began to replenish its spent power. But the next moment, Su Ran's voice echoed in Cancan's mind. "Don't use the echoing of Earth Vein, take it slow." "What, is there still something amiss?" Cancan's golden irises flickered slightly, comprehending Su Ran's intent immediately, and the dull yellow glow began to fade away. It lay on the ground, appearing normal as it drew in the surrounding Earth attribute power at a slightly slower pace than usual to slowly fill its enormous expenditure. At this rate, it would take at least 10 minutes to recover to its peak condition. But Cancan was not at all flustered. It had already sensed faint traces of starlight flickering around it, ready to connect itself with the stars at any moment. Having completed its disguise perfectly, curiosity couldn't help but bubble up in Cancan's mind. Looking at the situation, Su Ran was about to outmaneuver someone again. But who else was there to outmaneuver? It couldn't help but look towards the dragon scale not far away, left behind after the demise of the mysterious Azure Thunder Dragon, a resource at the king stage level. If it was capable of producing resources, there was no doubt that the mysterious Azure Thunder Dragon was thoroughly dead. Could it be that there was another hidden hand behind the scenes? In Cancan's eyes, a flash of anticipation appeared and vanished. How thrilling, it enjoyed this. The extinct thunder attraction is ours now. Su Ran laughed heartily, leading the other 3 little ones swiftly towards the extinct thunder attraction that had fallen back to the ground, then mimed the action of picking it up. In the moment of bending down, a sharp glint passed fleetingly in Su Ran's eyes. Next instant, Su Ran's body, holding the extinct thunder attraction, suddenly flew back several steps. A thunderbolt silently struck the original position of the extinct thunder attraction, instantly melting the surrounding earth and forming a small area of plasma. If Su Ran had still been there, it's likely he would have been turned into plasma. Seeing this, Su Ran couldn't help but wipe the cold sweat from his forehead, then turned to look towards a certain part of the void. "Cunning humans," a muffled voice echoed throughout Fallen Thunder Valley. At the same time, the spot Su Ran was gazing at slowly twisted, and a figure emerged from the void, seeming as if it had just arrived or perhaps had been there for quite a while. It was a giant beast with the head of a lion and a body resembling an eagle, with a wingspan of 40 meters. Each feather radiated with unparalleled electrical light, and its third eye on the forehead seemed to possess a soul-stirring power. The feeling is mutual, Su-ran sighed lightly upon seeing the creature, his face showing no great surprise. You've finally shown yourself. The real entity eyeing the extinct thunder attraction, indeed, had appeared. Xian and 12 both inhaled sharply at that moment. Both of them had sensed a familiar power emanating from this being before them. This Beast King turned out to be a rare dual-attribute Beast King, possessing both the thunder and super ability attributes. You know me. The mysterious giant beast gaze held a flicker of human-like astonishment. Not at all, Su-ran shook his head slightly. In that instant, he had checked all the creatures mentioned on the adventure map, but none matched the being before him. Chapter 673, 330, Thunder Dragon vs. Can-Can, the true mastermind behind the scenes. Can-Can completed her disguise convincingly, and couldn't help but feel a surge of curiosity. Looking like this, Su-ran is about to trick someone again. But who else is there to trick? She couldn't help but look towards the dragon scale not far away, left behind after the demise of the mysterious Azure Thunder Dragon, which was a resource produced by the king stage of the mysterious Azure Thunder Dragon. Having produced resources, the mysterious Azure Thunder Dragon had undoubtedly died. Could there be other hidden forces behind the scenes? Excitement flashed through Can-Can's eyes and then disappeared. How thrilling, she loved it. The extinct thunder attraction now belongs to us. Su-ran laughed heartily, approaching the extinct thunder attraction that had fallen to the ground again with the other three little ones, and then made the motion of picking it up. At the moment he bent over, a sharp glint flashed in the depths of Su-ran's eyes. The next instant, his body, holding the extinct thunder attraction, abruptly flew back several steps. A thunderbolt fell silently in the original position of the extinct thunder attraction, instantly eroding the surrounding earth and forming a small-scale plasma field. If Su-ran had still been there, he would likely have been converted into plasma as well. Seeing this, Su-ran couldn't help but wipe the cold sweat from his forehead, then turned his gaze towards a certain place in the void. Cunning humans! A dull voice echoed throughout Fallen Thunder Valley. At the same time, as Su-ran's gaze solidified, the space he was looking at slowly twisted, and a figure emerged in the void. It seemed to have just arrived, yet also seemed as if it had been there for a long time. It was a giant beast with a lion's head but a body like that of an eagle. Its wingspan was a massive 40 meters, and every single feather was shooting out strong, unparalleled thunderbolt light. The third eye on its forehead seemed to have the power to captivate the soul. It takes one to know one. Upon seeing the other party clearly, Su-ran breathed out softly, his face not showing much surprise. You've finally come out. The real creature eyeing the extinct thunder attraction had finally made its appearance. Xian and 12 both inhaled sharply at this moment, because the two of them felt a familiar power emanating from this creature before them. This Beast King turned out to be an extremely rare dual-attribute Beast King, possessing both Thunder attribute and Super ability attribute. You know me. The mysterious giant beast's eyes flickered with a human-like surprise. No, I don't, Su-ran shook his head slightly. In this instant, he cross-referenced all the creatures mentioned on the adventure map and couldn't find any that matched the one before him. Although I don't know you, I do know that those who hide behind the scenes are not limited to the mysterious Azure Thunder Dragon. Looking at the giant beast before him, Su-ran spoke slowly. So, how about introducing yourself? Stalling for time is useless. The giant beast glanced at Can-Can, whose power had not fully recovered. My name is Phantom Thunder Griffin. Phantom Thunder Griffin. It seems that there are still many powerful creatures hidden within the 47th beast field. Su-ran shook his head helplessly. He had never heard of this species, but he could feel the strength of the creature before him. It was a power that was no less than that of the Nightmare Beast King, and perhaps even greater. Without a doubt, this creature, just like the Nightmare Beast King, had attempted to evolve into the Emperor species but had failed to do so, gaining formidable power that went beyond the average Beast King but unable to break free from the shackles of the growth stage. And its failure was most likely related to its dual attribute. Transcendent beings with multiple attributes already faced greater evolution difficulty. Managing one evolution to become a king species was already an extraordinary existence. Trying to accomplish a second evolution was almost a fantasy. Su-ran's expression gradually became solemn. He had been suspecting that within Fallen Thunder Valley, There was some kind of super ability attribute power interference. Chapter 674, 331 Difficult Victory, Xian Evolves. What a tough guy, Su Ran muttered under his breath, his expression turning even graver as Can temporarily fell. Clearly, the creature before him had been here for quite some time, familiar with every ability Can had already used. The phantom thunder griffin in the sky swept its gaze over Can, finally settling on Su Ran. It had thought that the beast master before it had already revealed his full strength, but unexpectedly, he still had cards up his sleeve. Fortunately, its companion's illusion didn't affect it, and it managed to dodge the powerful strike at the critical moment. Humans, hand over the extinct thunder attraction. The deep voice of the phantom thunder griffin echoed throughout Fallen Thunder Valley. It stared at the extinct thunder attraction in Su Ran's hands, a hint of chilling intent flashing through its eyes. You must be dreaming, Su Ran said, gripping the long sword transformed from Xian without hesitation and slashing out once more. The sword's gleam, carrying the terrifying power of thunder and darkness, ripped through the sky with a piercing boom and headed straight for the phantom thunder griffin. If you're not awake, let me wake you up. Presumptuous. The anger in the eyes of the phantom thunder griffin intensified. It flapped its wings rapidly, its feathers glowing with lightning instantly turning into energy, which then transformed into countless thunderbolt needles shooting towards the sword's gleam. For a moment, needles like a screen swept across the sky. 3-star skill, violent sun level, phantom thunder needles. Boom! With a thunderous roar sounding like thunder, the two immensely powerful attacks collided instantly. Their colliding energies shattered, constantly rippling, and countless lightning bolts uncontrollably swirled within the energy storm. As the lightning faded, the numerous thunderbolt needles vanished into the void, and the strike that Su Ran had swung also disappeared into thin air. The phantom thunder griffin proved with its actions that, even without dodging, Su Ran's sword strikes were useless against it. Since you refuse to see reason, then stay here forever, the griffin roared, folding its wings and swiftly descending towards Su Ran. A torrent of invisible super ability attribute power, mixed with violent thunder force, rapidly gathered around it, dragging a long trail in the void and forming a frightening sword light. The phantom thunder griffin, with its body as the sword tip gained speed, eventually becoming almost just an afterimage, with its sharp momentum and boundless fighting spirit, it slashed down in an instant. 3-star skill, violent sun level, sword of demon slaying. Watching the swiftly enlarging sword light in his vision, Su Ran's expression quickly turned serious. Initially gripping the sword with one hand, he now pressed his other hand firmly on the hilt, pointing the sword tip towards the sound of the phantom thunder griffin's charge. Xylulu tilde. Starlight let out a screech, its surging starlight and dark veil rapidly circulating, as if forming a splendid star cloud. Facing the griffin's powerful attack, it had already pushed the prayer of Starry Night and Star Oath to the limit. With the momentum reaching its peak, Su Ran too completed his build-up. In the instant the phantom thunder griffin pounced, he savagely slashed with his sword. The sharpness of the sword's strike surged around him, and behind Su Ran, a shadowy long sword formed, slashing out in unison with his own sword. The dazzling gleam of the sword detached from the blade, heading straight for the phantom thunder griffin. In the next instant, sword gleam and sword light touched. Boom! Another violent boom ensued, and dust rose throughout Fallen Thunder Valley. Once the dust had settled, the phantom thunder griffin's figure reappeared. Its wings trembled violently as if it had not completely shed the force of the recent collision. A bloodstain slowly emerged on its chest, continuously oozing blood. On the other side, Su Ran didn't fare much better. The star cloud that enshrouded him in starlight had completely dimmed and shattered, with streaks of blood appearing on Su Ran and Starlight, making them look quite disheveled. The position where Starlight fought was no longer where it had struck previously. The nearly 1,000-meter-long scar on the ground was the result of the phantom thunder griffin's ferocious attack. As the starlight gathered bit by bit, the wounds on Su Ran and Starlight healed at a visibly rapid pace. He gasped heavily, then looked towards the griffin again. You're not that great either, huh? Such strong recovery. The phantom thunder griffin watched the wounds on Su Ran and Starlight heal completely within breaths, its eyes showing a sign of seriousness for the first time. The most troublesome opponents in battle were those like these. In a battle of attrition, even ants can wear down an elephant. However, having managed to increase its strength so much in obscurity, the Phantom Thunder Griffin was naturally not a common foe. With its rich combat experience, it knew how to deal with such opponents. Give up or make it quick. Since the enemy held the extinct thunder attraction, it couldn't give up. So, the Phantom Thunder Griffin forcefully controlled the muscles around its chest, clamping the torn wound to stop the bleeding, then without hesitation flapped its wings again, rushing towards Su-Ran. With thunderous roars and rising dust, Su-Ran and the Phantom Thunder Griffin crossed paths time after time. Empowered by both the extinct thunder attraction and Star Oath, Su-Ran was able to exchange blows with the Phantom Thunder Griffin. In the blink of an eye, they had clashed dozens of times. The injuries on Su-Ran and Starlight grew more numerous, but as they fought, they healed, hardly burdening them. Chapter 675, 331 Difficult Victory, Xian Evolves. Chapter 676, 331 Difficult Victory, Xian Evolves. Meowtilda, please. Xian patted Cancan's head before quickly gathering the evolution materials. Before the struggle for the extinct thunder attraction began, Xian had carried all his resources with him. After all, the time for evolution might come at any moment. Having secured all the main materials for evolution, Xian grabbed the king stage resources left by the two beast kings it had just slain. These were his auxiliary materials for evolution. After stowing all the resources away, Xian wrapped his bushy tail around them, then gracefully landed on Cancan's head. The next moment, Cancan's body began to grow rapidly in size. He raised his head high, lifting Xian up to the thunder cloud that hadn't dispersed in the void, and then his form became fixed. This time, it was his agility that he sacrificed. The one serving as a foothold didn't need agility anymore. Being able to take a beating was all that mattered. Looking uneasily at the thunder and lightning surging within the thunder cloud, Cancan's body quickly radiated an earthy yellow halo, as countless clumps of soil completely covered his huge body, turning him into a mountain piercing into the thunder cloud. 3-star skill halo level, giving body to fertile soil. Chaya, let's start. Cancan, with only his pair of glittering golden eyes visible from the mud, shouted expectantly. This angle was arguably the best viewing perspective. Even those below, such as Su-Ran, Star, 12, and the absent Firefly, rapidly shared Cancan's vision to witness the first of their friends to evolve towards the Emperor species. Meowtilda, you guys are making me a little nervous. Xian muttered softly, yet there wasn't much nervousness in his eyes. Instead, a sky-high fighting spirit rose within as he stared at the thunder cloud below his body. All skills at Violent Sun level, all skills 4 stars. Among his 7 skills, apart from the immortal body, the other 6 were all dual attribute skills. Which other king species could reach such a level besides him? At the general level, he had independently slain 2 beast kings a stage above him. Aside from him, how many could make such a claim? With such ample preparation, Xian didn't believe there was any chance of failure for his evolution. Standing atop Cancan's head, he stepped forward a few paces, then without any hesitation, he began swallowing the evolution materials. As each of the evolution materials entered Xian's body, his aura grew increasingly restless and unstable. Eventually, after having consumed all resources except for the extinct thunder attraction, his aura became chaotic and frenzied, like a powder keg that could explode at any moment. With the last bit of clarity forced in his dichromatic pupils, Xian picked up the extinct thunder attraction and pressed it heavily against his forehead. Boom! Following the thunderous sound that echoed for a long time above the cloud tops, Xian's figure vanished in an instant from the top of Cancan's head and appeared as high in the sky as possible. Massive amounts of energy erupted in all directions from Xian as the center, and despite lacking the ability to fly, he managed to maintain his position in the void at that moment. The power of the extinct thunder attraction was activated immediately by the turbulent forces, and a dazzling light burst rapidly from Xian's head. The lightning, filled with immense destructive power, appeared out of nowhere in the void, and as soon as it materialized, it furiously struck towards the location of the extinct thunder attraction, responding to its call, also its destiny. However, this time, between the lightning and the extinct thunder attraction, a strange and powerful resistance emerged. The resistance came from Xian, from another force agitated within his body. Xian's body had turned translucent without notice, Veins that should have been hidden inside his body became clearly visible, pulsating with intense and dazzling light. The force hidden within Xion's body was also being stimulated by this mysterious change, shooting out in every direction. This was the special power of the extreme source vein crystal. Unlike other attributes, the power of fighting and super ability attributes originated from within the bodies of transcendent beings, and the purpose of the extreme source vein crystal was to activate the fighting attribute power to the greatest extent. Normally, this activation should be gradual. But under the stimulus of the chaotic forces at that moment, the power of the extreme source vein crystal went berserk, and in an instant, a tremendous amount of power hidden in Xion's body was released. The withdrawal of these forces caused Xion to go from an inflated ball to an emptied one in an instant. It also kept the lightning drawn by the extinct thunder attraction blocked outside of his forces. The lightning and Xion's forcibly activated fighting attribute power confronted each other outside his body, while inside Xion, the chaotic standoff didn't subside. The abnormal fighting attribute power and the thunder attribute power, like eternal enemies, were locked in a fierce battle within Xion's body. They came from the two beast kings that Xion had slain. The two powers harbored immeasurable hatred towards Xion that could not be dissipated. In that moment, it erupted, crushing each other while relentlessly destroying the battlefield, which was Xion's body. Streams of gentle and soothing power worked tirelessly to mend the continuously damaged battlefield, which was the life-affirming energy of the eternal life calamity due that Xion had consumed. But the speed of this repair still couldn't keep up with the pace at which the two forces collided and destroyed each other. In just a breath, Xion's body became riddled with holes because of the clash of forces. Chapter 677, 331 Difficult Victory, Xion Evolves. Xion's heterochromatic eyes were brimming with intense pain. It tightly closed its eyes, simultaneously focusing on the confrontation outside while carefully observing the duel within. It knew that if it continued to let things run their course, there was almost no hope for a successful evolution. The only chance lay within Xion itself, within that calmly flowing drop of purple-red blood essence. Unlike the wild agitation of the other energies, the thunder attribute Emperor Stage blood essence was silently present as if it didn't exist at all, with strands of white radiance quietly circulating within the purple-red halo. That was the last piece of evolution materials integrated into the blood essence, the brilliant gem. Gazing at the quiet blood essence, Xion was clear in its heart that this was merely the calm before a torrential outbreak. That, after all, was a drop of Emperor Stage blood essence. An Emperor Stage, even though long fallen, the will lingering within its blood was enough to give it a hard time. At this moment, it appeared so docile primarily because of the brilliant gem. This resource harbored a natural affinity with Emperor Stage powers, which for Emperor Stage blood essence was akin to an irresistibly delicious food. Before digesting this food, the blood essence was apathetic to everything else. But as food, the brilliant gem would also fortify the blood essence, along with the will of the Emperor Stage that lingered within it. Therefore, once the blood essence fully devoured the brilliant gem, Xion would endure a terrifying backlash. To prevent this, it had to absorb the strength of the blood essence as much as possible before the blood essence erupted, making Xion's already tough situation even more difficult. It exerted all its energy to stimulate the remaining fighting attribute power, controlling its own blood, continuously washing over the Emperor Stage blood essence. Every wash took away an extremely fine thread of power from the blood essence, providing the exhausted Xion with a trace of new strength. However, such washing was painful. It had nearly mobilized all the blood within Xion's body, and within that body, chaotic energies were wreaking havoc. Diverting a sliver of its mind, Xion manipulated its power, beginning to suppress the madly grinding fighting attribute and thunder attribute powers within its body. Armed with as many as 6 violent sun-level dual attribute skills, it possessed an exceptional ability to balance attributes, and the conflicting powers which ordinary beings struggled to control were like docile lambs in Xion's hands. It swiftly took control of its own power, and then began to intimidate those external forces. Deriving from 2 resources of king stage quality, infused with the wills of 2 beast kings, that will, though full of hatred, was mostly fear. After all, Xion's invincible strength was the last scene witnessed by the 2 beast kings before their demise. Thus, as Xion's power enveloped its aura and came crashing down, The two external forces simultaneously recalled the fear they had felt during their lives. Their strife in combat eerily came to a halt. The eternal life calamity quickly seized this opportunity to restore Xian's damaged body with its vast vitality. Feeling the pain in its body begin to fade, Xian quietly breathed a sigh of relief. At that moment, it seemed to understand why the evolution ritual required it to kill on its own. Swiftly absorbing the two kinds of power to fortify itself in the midst of suppression, Xian's gaze returned to that drop of blood essence. At this point, the blood essence was almost completely absorbing the power of the brilliant gem, and its original volume had also considerably shrunk due to the continuous blood wash. Seemingly sensing the crisis, the blood essence accelerated the absorption of the brilliant gem's power, and the vague shadow of a terrifying creature concealed within also began to further ferment. This was the will of the Emperor stage hidden within the blood essence. Even just a trace was far superior to Xian at the moment. Therefore it must not succeed. Xian let out an angry roar, as the powers from the fighting attribute and thunder force drawn from the two sources rapidly interwove and spun within its body, transforming into a millstone that erases all, heading towards that half-damaged drop of blood essence to suppress it. Under the sudden explosive suction within the millstone, the blood essence uncontrollably split into numerous fine branches, forcefully sucked in by Xian. The will of the Emperor stage, barely maintaining its form, let out a fierce hiss. Its aura, however, grew weaker and feeble, ultimately exploding within Xian's body, dissipating completely into specks of light halos. With that, the power within Xian was completely unified. It opened its eyes imbued with endless thunder, looking towards the thunderbolts raging outside, trying to approach itself. In the prolonged standoff, the destructive thunderbolt and the forcibly blossoming power of the fighting attribute within Xian seemed to have undergone an unusual change. The boundaries between them began to blur, and at the junction, the two forces seemed to be merging, and a new power was being born. Xian, sensing the scene, had its eyes flicker. The next moment, an invisible force turned into a tide of shockwaves, rapidly spreading out from it in all directions, encompassing the clashing powers. 4-star skills, violent sun-level heavenly punishment. Under the domain of heavenly punishment, both the fighting attribute's power and the thunder force were greatly enhanced, and Xian's control over both powers was also significantly strengthened. Feeling the colliding powers within the domain of heavenly punishment, it knew what to do next. Fusion. Complete fusion. At this moment, Thunder Shocker was activated by Xian. The path of destruction bloomed under its feet, thunder punishment meandered in its paws, and astonishing thunder fury interwove in the void. At this moment, the already cooling divine punishment was also mysteriously stimulated, flickering a shroud of darkness deep within Xian's pupils. 6 violent sun-level dual attribute 4-star skills, with their domineering and forceful postures, oppressed the raging powers, trying to fuse them together. Bit by bit, with the intervention of an external force, the intertwining speed of the two powers accelerated, their boundaries grew increasingly indistinct, and eventually it was almost impossible to see any boundary at all. The purple-black thunder power was diluted, becoming semi-transparent purple power. Having fused with the fighting attribute's power, it faced no more obstacles and in a flash crossed all barriers, striking the extinct thunder attraction on Xian's forehead. Boom! Accompanied by a thunderous roar that shook the heavens, a brilliant white light of evolution burst forth above the dark thunder cloud, piercing heartlessly through the gloom, revealing a clear sky. On the ground, Su-Ran slightly narrowed his eyes, staring intently in Xian's direction. It was closer, even closer now. He felt a figure equipped with a tremendously formidable power rapidly approaching him. The next moment, the light of evolution slowly dimmed. Xian's form had also descended from the sky, appearing in front of Su-Ran.